That's without the players coming out. We still have so much hype to bring. Oh my gosh. Obviously, this is the FNCS Pro-Am. It's a little bit different, right? We just came off Major #2, and now we're taking it to a Pro-Am, bringing together for a reload. It's going to be a fantastic time, man.
It's going to be awesome, right? Obviously, the FNCS circuit, it's included these majors for a couple of years now, but this little bit of a break that we have, right? This extended break between Major 2 and Major 3, filling in with the Pro-Am. Honestly, I love the vibe of it. So far, it's been super, super cool. I even got people here, and I'm like, you guys got to do this again. And we haven't even had the competition yet.
Yeah, creators, pros from all over the world, right? We've got players from Brazil, OCE, Asia, NA, EU, all over the world competing here today.
Oh, man. Now, before we obviously get this all going, why don't we take a little tour around the venue, see who else is here with us. Frankie is standing by in the player lounge.
I am. Typical Gamer just walked ahead of me in the shop, but that's absolutely fine because it's Typical Gamer. I think we can allow that. In fact, it is so busy in the player lounge, I wouldn't be surprised if it happens again. So let's try and walk to a slightly less busy spot as I talk to you about how the players are feeling. And to be honest, I think I'm more nervous than they are. These creators, they're used to the spotlight. These players, they're used to LAN. That means it's going to be an incredibly fierce competition. But hopefully, in a few minutes, they might let me grab them for a chat because there are so many big names here and they really, really want to beat each other to the incredible trophy you're going to see revealed on stage in just a few moments. There's so many friends and family here. And I just can't wait to see who Kelly has got over in the Creator Lounge, because I imagine it's as busy as this one.
There is a lot going on over here, Frankie, or I should say that I am in the Creator Lounge right now, although it's looking a little empty, and that's probably because a lot of our creators are backstage right now getting ready, although I did just see Bucky walk across, so some of the creators are here as well. Guys, I am so excited for all of the action. We have 6 incredible games of Reload coming your way. But we do still have a few moments before we get into all the action. But speaking of action, we got to bring in the people that are going to be calling all the action. It is our 2 casters, Taco and Jacob PR.
Thank you so much, Kelly. 5 years since the last FNCS Pro-Am. I remember me just a little bit shorter in the crowd, watching all the action unfold. Some of the creators that we're going to see today were in attendance for that, and we got so many more.
Yeah, and the ultimate highlight for us, Jacob, is that we have the best spectator POV. I mean, we'll get a chance to peep what's going on with the co-streamers, just a little bit off to our right, but also the crowd. I want to see these guys get loud because there's been so much trash talk, a lot of friendly banter. It's not going to be so friendly once they're on that stage.
Yeah, and I'm going to be looking off into the crowd as the game goes off, as I'm calling all the action to see which side of the crowd is actually the loudest. Is the west side, the east side? Who are they actually rooting for? Because I know I got a couple of my favorites, Peterbot, but specifically Aussie Antics, probably one I'm looking out for.
Yeah, I mean, there's been some mix-ups taking place. You know, streets have been talking for a long time, Jacob. Ever since last night, you could tell who's been grinding, who's been VOD reviewing, but I think Zeke and the analysts might have a little bit more to say on that.
Thank you, guys. Of course we do, and we'll get on into all of that first. Let's talk about what we're doing here today. So, Pro-Am, what does that mean? Is it an FNCS? It is, but we're not just kind of doing the normal BR situation. We're actually taking it to Reload.
Yeah, in FNCS, we're typically jumping into the main island over there, 100 players, everything like that. As you can quickly see here, we're going to be dropping all the way down to 40 players, 20 duos, and every single duo is going to have a content creator and a pro comprising of that team. Now, of course, the biggest difference here is we're going to be jumping into the Reload game mode, and the biggest thing about that is that if you get eliminated, as long as your duo is still alive, you actually jump back into the action.
And that's going to be interesting when you think about the point system, because if we look at the points, you get 10 points for a victory royale, but each elimination counts as 1 point. So if you get 10 elims, Zeke, that is the equivalent of a victory royale. I would not be surprised if we see these duos playing extra aggressive today.
Yeah, I mean, you look at someone like Peterbot, right? Someone like Colt, who are very elimination heavy. They're very elimination hungry. This could be really good for them. Like you said, you don't even need to win a game. If you're just going frag crazy, you might as well just be coming on first place.
Yeah, I mean, it's super, super cool. Obviously, you know, being in the environment that we are, players and content creators arriving days ago, they've had a ton of practice. They've kind of been jumping in the cups. We had a couple of practice schemes yesterday, and let me tell you something, that Reload format, the ability to kind of jump back into the action, it created so many fights in the early game. we're going to be action-packed today.
Yeah, not only in the practice games, but also in creative. We had creators 1v1ing, pros going against creators, pros going against each other. There has been non-stop action.
Oh my gosh, we are just so unbelievably excited. But of course, we have to ask the question, are the players excited?
Am I excited for the Pro-Am?
I think there's so many wild cards. Anybody could win this.
The energy is insane. It's going to get serious pretty quickly.
I mean, we're here and we're ready to win.
I'm very excited to be here.
We've got people here who have almost made grand finals or made grand finals as creators.
I think there's going to be a lot more variance just because of the mix of the different skill levels. I think there will be a lot of pressure for a lot of people.
Yeah, I do have something to prove. I'm going to prove that I'm the best content creator here.
It's a chance to see the best players in the world try to carry people like me, so it has a kind of a fun element to it.
All the biggest influencers in Fortnite, competitors in Fortnite together in a room. Content being made is just like so much fun.
I can't wait. I'm blessed with a great teammate. Competition looks slight. I mean, it's going to be a great day.
We play together really, really well. I think everyone's going to see that at the Pro-Am.
Anything can happen. It's going to be very, very chaotic.
You have Lacey and you have Clicks. If you want to mess with us, please, free 2 Elans on the board.
Courage AD in particular needs to watch out. I feel so bad putting him back in the lobby.
Eliminate Cypher PK, eliminate Nick A30, and then maybe eliminate the pros too.
100%. I think we are going to win this. I don't like what it takes. We're just going to win.
Galen Center, how about that, your players? Now, these players, they've been talking some wild games, some big game. They're saying they're going to eliminate each other one by one when they hit reload later today. However, I've been talking some big game because I've been saying you guys are the loudest crowd in esports, and now I need you guys to have my back, okay? I need you to prove me right. So 1, 2, 3, make some noise! It's not bad. It's not bad. It was good. I think we could be even better. So I'm gonna borrow some words from my good friend, Mr. 11-2K. FNCS Pro-Am, are you ready? Are you ready, Zeke?
Frankie, after that, I am ready. Oh my gosh, you already heard this crowd roar. And again, we've not even brought the players out, okay? Before the cameras went on, we had the players onto the stage. They had a moment to kind of set up. We already started to hear both sides of the stadium go crazy. It is going to be an exciting time. First off, welcome back, Kelly.
Yeah, I got rebooted.
You got, you got some fans as well. Thank you, guys. Always show love to Kelly. We appreciate that. So, guys, what is at stake here? Let's talk about that prize pool. It's a $500,000 prize pool, but for first place, $50,000.
I mean, you know, a lot of people are talking about why are we here? Are we here for the engagements? Are we here to have fun? $500,000 prize pool is a pretty big reason to be here and compete, Vivid.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to be very, very cliche here, and I'm going to say, yeah, you know, the players, the content creators are going to be competing for the money. Yeah, that's the prize for them. The prize really is for the Fortnite fam. The enjoyment already that's coming out of this event. Obviously, the 6 games we have yet to be entertained by. I think we're the real winners.
100%. But look, it's not just the $500K prize pool, the $50K for first place. But if you do get that first place, it comes with something special, Zeke.
Oh my gosh. We have an amazing and just beautiful trophy. Just a massive shout out there to Thomas Light for creating not only the trophy, but there will also be medals as well. They're the official silverware partner of the FNCS. They're kind of already making trophies in the sports space and now looking to take a step into esports. They've actually already created a trophy for the RLCS, and when the Pro-Am has a trophy, the Global Championships will have a trophy and medals as well. It's crazy.
Yeah, Thomas Light is literally the official warrant holder for goldsmiths and silversmiths for His Majesty the King. Oh. So literally making trophies for royalty, and we have some royalty here as well.
Please.
Oh.
I mean, we got to be honest with ourselves, right? The trophy is what everybody wants. That's what competition's all about. I personally never ended up earning one. That stinks for me. But the opportunity for everybody here to go ahead and claim that trophy, right? Have it in the back of their setups at home when they're creating content, when they're on stream. That's what it's all about.
And we've got some players here that have those trophies in the background. Booga's competing here today, but there's also a lot of creators and players that do not. And today's the day to get one.
That's right. Okay, guys, let's do this. We got to take a look at our lobby list. Who is competing here today? If you missed out on Duo Day, don't worry. We've got you covered. Here is a look at all of the duos we'll be seeing. Now, let's start to kind of talk about some of these. Obviously, before everything kind of started and we knew Peterbot was coming in, everyone was thinking, okay, who's getting paired up with Peterbot? Who could it be? You know, who's gonna walk away with this legend of the scene? Turns out it's Aussie Antics. When you pair them together, yeah, crowd, you guys can go crazy, that's fine. When you pair them together, this is a terrifying duo.
I mean, literally the two faces of competitive Fortnite. Peterbot, the best player in the world, arguably, Major 2 reigning champ, global champ as well. And then Aussie Antics, who does every single viewing party for every single event ever. And the two of them together, although I will say, when we announced this pairing, Aussie, very excited. Although Vivid, I saw a little bit of fear, a little bit concern in his eye, because being able to keep up with Peterbot is a feat in itself.
Well, let's be honest, Aussie Antics is not going to be able to keep up with Peterbot. Peterbot is literally the GOAT of Fortnite right now. He's on one heck of a run. But everybody's like, yeah, who was going to get paired up with Peterbot? On the flip side of that, well, who was going to get paired up with Aussie Antics? I actually think this worked out very, very well. For anybody who doesn't know, Peterbot's been like a 40+ month sub to Aussie on Twitch, right? So like, he knows, he's very, very comfortable being around Aussie. You know, he knows how he works. He knows how dedicated he is to the game. This duo honestly worked out very, very well on both sides of the coin.
And I love the way they're playing. We could see a bit of it in the practice games yesterday. Aussie Antics, he's got double chug jug. He's got medkits. He's got shockwaves, grappler, and he's like, all right, Peterbot, go frag out. Get as many eliminations as you want. I'll be ready. I've got heals for you. I've got mobility for you. I've got everything you need to get that trophy.
You know, we keep calling Aussie Antics a loot llama, but we saw the practice games yesterday. He eliminated Mr. Savage, so there is definitely some W key potential there.
Oh man, I'm excited, of course, for the duo. Their objective here at the Pro-Am is very clear.
When it comes to our play style, I'm just gonna key a little bit in the beginning, try and get us some free elimination points, and then we'll start playing passive towards 5 or 6 minutes into the game.
I just gotta stay alive. That's my plan.
Just gotta stay alive. That's it, Aussie, right? I mean, I love that you guys kind of brought up the practice game yesterday. Having a situation where we watched Peterbot kind of take a fight, was eliminated, rebooted, lands in front of Aussie, and Aussie's just like, hey, here's the stuff. Keep going. I'm gonna keep farming. I can't wait to see how they perform today.
I mean, something we talk about in the FNCS is players knowing their roles and being able to play to the T, and that is exactly what Aussie and Peter are coming into this competition. They have such a good synergy. I really feel like they are, the team to beat.
You know, honestly, we keep talking about how these practice games went yesterday, and it was like, yeah, Aussie Antics was kind of farming for Peterbot, but at the end of it, no leaks or anything like that. I think they're actually going to switch up how it's going to work. They might actually, work together just a little bit more than we were expecting. So it'll be interesting to see how they kind of practice and implement that new strategy.
Yeah, and we're talking about support. Aussie Antics, look, I'm going to give one leak. He eliminated Mr. Savage yesterday in the practice game, so he can still hold his ground.
Okay. Well, guess what? Frankie's actually standing by with the duo right now, so let's get their thoughts on how they're feeling.
Yes, and before we ask them about their game, I need to ask, why is the FNCS Pro-Am going to be won by Reason and Faxity today?
I don't really know, to be honest. I'm just going to go out there and win.
Yeah, you're going to win, so no one's getting in your way today.
Yeah, no, definitely not.
That's probably the most obvious answer and the question I shouldn't have asked because we all knew it. Now, Aussie, I'm coming to you. What was it like when you were paired up with Peterbot, when the news sank in?
I mean, it's exciting. Obviously, everyone wanted to get Peterbot. It put a bit more pressure on. I started practicing instantly. I was kind of going to gauge how serious I was going to take the event, of which teammate I got. Once you get Pete, you got to lock in, so.
And how seriously are you taking the event?
I mean, pretty seriously. I mean, no one's expecting me to be the firepower on the team, but if you got to keep up with Peterbot, you got to at least be practicing. So I put a lot of time in. I'm feeling pretty good.
Peter, have you been surprised by the firepower that Aussie is bringing?
A little bit. I thought he would be a little bit worse, but he's definitely gotten better.
Is that because of you?
No, it's not even because of me. I think he just, grinded on his own, but I think he's getting better for me.
He's definitely been grinding. We're hearing rumors that more people might be heading your way at Slurpee Swamp today. Have you got a message for them?
I hope people land on us at Slurpee. It'll be free eliminations for me and Aussie, so, yeah.
Free eliminations. No one wants to give Peterbot free eliminations. To be honest, they probably feel free when people are actually coming at you primed and ready to go. Aussie, so you've talked about the fact that you're just going to be a bit of a walking llama for Peter today. But after the test games yesterday, where you did get an elimination on Ali A, are you feeling like actually you might be going more for the elims now, more direct?
We'll see. I don't want to say too much, but I mean, if I go the full llama route, people are going to start looking for me as the llama, so we'll change it up a bit. I don't want to keep the strategy too one-sided, so, I'll get in the mix a little bit.
And you are such a kind, lovely person. If you ask Ozzy to talk about the competition, he's just like, I don't do that. I can't talk about anyone in a bad way. But I do want to know, has Pete told you any trash talk?
Oh, I mean, we'll see. I don't want to mess up his flow state. I know Pete likes to smack talk. He likes to, crash out on people a bit. So I don't want to mess him up too much. So I'm usually Mr. Positive, but it's a tournament. There's money on the line, We'll see how we go.
So the answer is no. Pete hasn't taught him any smack talk. He's literally the same Ozzy antics we know and love. Peter, Ozzy, thank you so much for talking to me today. And I know you're going to put on a good show. Let's head back to the desk.
Thank you so much, Frankie. Yeah, I mean, so we've obviously had a couple days now with everybody here at the tournament. We've had kind of chances to catch up with Ozzy individually, Peterbot individually, and a couple times together, right? And you can definitely tell Ozzy's taking this very seriously. He's really putting in time. He's really trying to refine. And Peterbot is just being Peterbot. He's just like, yeah, I'm going to show up on the show day. Everyone's getting eliminated.
Peterbot saying that Ozzy is not as bad as he thought he was is the nicest compliment I have ever heard out of Peterbot's mouth. So that right there is a good sign.
Obviously one-sided there when it comes down to the communication, right? Ozzy a lot more invested into the questions. And yeah, like Zeke went ahead and said there, just confidence spewing out of Peterbot. Every single time he's on camera, he's just like, yeah, I'm going to win.
People are sleeping on Ozzy a little bit, though, no? I mean, when you're put up with Peterbot, it's hard to kind of make that comparison, right? The GOAT of Fortnite competitive, the GOAT of Fortnite viewing parties, but they definitely have what it takes.
You said the word GOAT there, and that got me thinking. There is a GOAT we have to highlight, and it's someone who's going to be fighting for the #1 loudest duo on the day. It's Courage JD paired up with Cold. Obviously, if you guys, again, have been watching since Duo Day, you know we had Courage on the show. He was really excited. Finally, they got some time to practice together, and, Courage has been taking this extremely seriously.
Yeah, initially Cold was being a little cold to Courage JD, but once they did finally get the practice in, it definitely looks a lot better. Courage JD, we were talking about Ozzy antics, putting in the work, putting in the practice. Every time I tune into Twitch, Courage JD is practicing with some kind of pro.
Yeah, and I got to say, Zeke was mentioning, oh yeah, they're going to be competing for the loudest duo. I'm pretty sure one half of this duo is going to be entirely carrying that loudness. I'll let you guys at home kind of decide who that's going to be right there. But yeah, to bring up Kelly's point right there, the practice that Courage has been bringing to the table. It's not only the time that he's put it in, because obviously it's been a bunch. It's actually the quality of that practice that kind of caught my eye. Jumping into lobbies, jumping into creative with other professional players, even ones that are actually competing in the event. Like I saw that he had a great session with Venno himself, right? A little bit tips and tricks there about how to fight box to box. So great job by Courage to go ahead and jump into the action.
Yeah, and also the vibes. I mean, this morning, Courage was, I would say, the first one in the practice lounge. And he came, he had 3 bananas, 2 waters, 3 granola bars, and it was all for Cold. He said, my duo has got to be ready to compete today. So I think they definitely got what it takes.
Yeah, I mean, he's a character, right? And of course, him being basically the last one out last night during the practice hours, like, I cannot wait to see Courage compete. He did have some quotes in that piece that we showed earlier. I believe he said he was going to eliminate Cypher PK,
Nick A30,
Nick A30, and then some of the pros.
Maybe.
So,
maybe.
Oh, okay, yeah. And of course, during the Duo Day, he was the self-proclaimed 2025 FCS Pro-Am champion. So we'll see how that goes today.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, there's a lot of possibility, Takada. I do think that Courage JD may have made a few enemies, though.
Definitely made quite a few enemies. You can even think, I'm going to take you back, okay? 2018, the Fortnite Pro-Am. Courage actually got 2nd place. And, Cypher was talking about it. He competed back in the day. Also, Ali A, who got 5th. And Courage was like, you know what? As long as I place higher than Ali A, I'll be happy with that.
That was a long time ago, Tokata. That was a long time ago. But, look, this duo is perfect for each other, right? Like, obviously, the quiet nature of Cold, who's going to be kind of slipping in and out of builds, eliminating players. Courage being the loud voice to distract people. I mean, why don't we just hear what they have to say?
The best content creator at the Fortnite Pro-Am.
I got my player. I know my player.
Go ahead. Who is it?
Cypher PK.
If that's not an indication we've been having a lot of fun this weekend, I don't know what is. Very excited to see how these guys compete. Obviously, Cold is Cold. So, we kind of have touched a lot on Courage and how much work he's been putting in, but Cold is a very difficult individual to stop once he gets going.
I mean, Major 2 reigning champ. Every time we see these like stats of who has the most damage, it's between him and Peterbon who's fighting for first. Absolutely an incredible fragger. Definitely a threat to the rest of the lobby.
Yeah, an incredible performance in Major 2 from Cold. Best damage ratio over the course of 12 games against other professional players was seriously a feat. Obviously, that's the crazy thing, right? When we think about, how well they play in majors, it's always against other professional players. Throw in content creators in the mix, you're one of the best fraggers in the game. Being Cold, woo, it's gonna be scary.
Hey, 3-time FNCS champ. I mean, look, they're joking around, they're having fun, but I think when that first game starts, they're gonna be locked in. They're gonna be focused, and they're gonna do a great job.
I'm curious to see where they're at right now. Frankie is standing by with the duo. Let's get their thoughts on the Pro-Am.
Well, Cold was 14 years old when he won his first FNCS major finals. Courage is 31, and he's hoping he's going to get his first title today. And you brought the bananas. What's this all about?
Yeah, it's important to have fruits, keep your blood sugar high. I'm going to have 2 bananas per game, which will equate to 12 bananas by the end of this. And I think if I get 1 elimination per banana, we'll be in a good spot.
Who are you going to eliminate, though? Who's the easiest?
I mean, how long do we got? Cypher PK, we were fighting earlier, easy eliminations. Peterbot hasn't even warmed up, not worried about him anymore. Typical gamer might almost be 50, so his reaction time isn't cutting it. And I got Cold as a duo, so what am I worried about?
You do have Cold as a duo. The weird thing is, I would have thought it'd be him with the back injury after the test games we played yesterday because he was carrying you quite a lot. Cold, how are you feeling about your partner? He's been grinding more than anyone in this entire building.
He has. I can tell he really wants it, and like he wants to do well in this, so I'm going to do my best to give him what he wants.
How long have you been able to practice as a duo? Because, I mean, you had the Major 2 finals not that long ago.
To practice for this?
Yeah.
Not much practice coming from me, to be honest, but I got courage for that, so.
Well, you did have a little bit of trouble. You're dropping south of booming bass, and unfortunately for you guys, malheureusement, the French are going there too. What's the tactic for dealing with them today? Because they gave you a lot of trouble yesterday.
There is going to be no dealing with them. We're just going to let them do their thing. We're going to do our thing, and we'll see how it goes.
Are you going to do what I call the Mongol strat? Are you going to hide in a bush until the danger's gone?
Of course not.
This man doesn't hide in no bush. Courage, do you think that you've put quite a lot of pressure on yourself with this event? Because obviously you've been grinding, but back at the 2018 Celebrity Pro-Am, you did lose to Ninja. He put you in second place. You say you gave it to him, but I'm not so sure.
Look, Ninja needed to complete his story arc at the first Pro-Am. I love my boy Tyler, but he had to get that win. This time, though, I'm coming for first place only. And if we win first place, I told Cold I'm giving him all my prize money, so.
All the prize money, I mean, 50 grand? It's not pocket change to me, but maybe to this man. But you could buy an awful lot of bananas with that, Cold. Let's head back to the desk.
Well,
I think they broke Zeke.
I'm fine. Everything is fine. Everything is great. Always a big fan of Courage JD, a true OG in the scene. And of course, I love seeing him paired up with Cold. They both seem in very high spirits, which I'm excited to see. That means at whatever happens, we're going to be hearing Courage JD on that stage.
Oh, 100%. I think that for this duo especially, that they are just here for the vibes. But I think that throughout those vibes, they also just might get a few wins as well.
Yeah, I mean, the approach to the tournament is just completely different. I love how Cold's answer to, oh, how much practice have you guys kind of been putting into the tournament? He's like, oh, well, me? Really not much. But that's what I got Courage for, as if like Courage is putting in so much practice that it's like taking up how much Cold's supposed to practice. Like, Courage has practiced so much for the both of them.
Look, all I know is no other player is going to have more than 12 bananas. Will that actually help Courage? I don't think so, but hey, it's the spirit that counts.
Okay, all right. Now, the spirit of what I would like to see today is someone win their first LAN title. Thomas HD, paired up with Somerset, which is kind of a terrifying duo. And guys, I will go ahead and admit something to you now. When Duo Day happened, obviously we were seeing the duos announced come together, and I kept, I was going one by one. I saw Thomas HD and Somerset, and I thought, oh, that's really cool, and I kind of moved on. Then I had to kind of stop myself and take a kind of step back and wait, well, hold on, Zeke. Did you read that right? Thomas HD and Somerset?
Yeah, leading up into this event, a lot of people make their prediction list, top 3, top 5, and this duo is in pretty much every single person's top 5 list. And there's obvious reasons why. I mean, Thomas HG is the best player in Fortnite to never win an FNCS title. I don't even know how many second places he's won. And then, of course, you have Somerset, winner of multiple votes, as well as getting 3rd place at the most recent Milk Cup LAN. I mean, they are incredible competitors, and having that competitive mindset is definitely going to set themselves up for success.
Yeah, this duo has put us in a little bit of a gray area, right? We're supposed to have a professional player on one side, content creator on the other side. Obviously, Somerset, great content creator, but she is just so invested in the Fortnite competitive. I think nobody would bat an eye to call her a professional player in all regards. Like, you saw 14,000 hours streamed, all of that being invested into Fortnite competitive in some way, shape, or form. And not to mention, right, Fortnite is an esport that continuously gets harder, right? Throughout your career, it's just harder to kind of come into it. Everybody's getting better. Somerset is also just getting better, right? Earlier this year, making it into FNCS East, which was a feat for her. So she's constantly getting better, paired up with Thomas HD, scary duo.
They're going to be lethal. I mean, not only making it to Heat's 3rd place in the Milk Cup, Thomas HD, on the other hand, 4 times he's placed 2nd place in FNCS Grand Finals, one of those being the Global Championship. Now, we did talk with Thomas, talked with Somerset. We said, if you win today, do you think it's going to count as your first FNCS win? Now, Thomas said no, but Somerset, on the other hand, had another idea.
Yes, she said yes. And look, we agree. It still has FNCS before the Pro-Am. So if you win, Thomas, it does count. Why don't we go on over to Frankie, who's standing by. Frankie, ask him if it counts.
Hello, I have got a very terrifying duo next to me. They might look sweet and innocent, but these two are going to have an absolute party when we hit Slurp Rush later. Thomas, when you first played Reload and this map, you must have been so excited because all of those weapons, have you got your name practically written on them?
Yeah, I do. Like, I like using the Mammoth pistol, for example, and the sniper. So, yeah, I like the weapons.
It's kind of terrifying watching the two of these guys play. What was your reaction to getting Thomas?
Oh, I was astonished. I was very excited. I mean, he's literally the Sniper King in absolutely everything. So to hear that, it was, I knew we would definitely be able to get some, eliminations out of the air for sure.
You're known for your disgusting aim with the sniper as well. Tell me, how on earth are you deciding who's doing what in game? Because you've got a very similar, powerful skill set.
I think it's pretty apparent that he's very good with the super long range. I'm kind of here to just support and follow up on whatever he absolutely needs just to get us through to the end game.
Now, you haven't had much of a chance to practice together because you've been separated by the Atlantic Ocean. But from watching you guys perform yesterday in our test games, it feels like there's a very natural chemistry. Is that right? Has it come quite naturally to you two as a duo?
Yeah, I would say it does. I mean, I feel like we bounce off of each other pretty well, aside from me jumping in front of crash pads. But I'm learning as we go.
There have been a few accidents we have seen with the mobility items so far here at the Galen Centre in the past couple of days, so don't worry about that one. You're not alone, Somerset. Thomas, tell me about the off-spawn situation. You are dropping south of Steamy Stacks, but there's a lot of very good duos landing either side of you. So what's the idea here? Are you going to stick around and try and get some elims?
We might be contested, but I'm not sure. I think Seti and Daya was going to land on us, but yeah. We will see. We'll just claim the split we have there, and yeah, we'll just try to make it to end game.
Well, all I know is it's going to be very, very entertaining watching the two of you. Thank you so much for talking to me, and good luck. Let's head back to the desk.
Thomas HD said a word there, a phrase, called out a weapon specifically that kind of just got me excited. Mammoth pistol. Mammoth pistol being in Reload. You throw one of those in the hands of Thomas HD, he's going to start hitting headshots.
Oh, he's definitely going to start hitting headshots, right? We're talking about the Pro-Am right now. I remember when the Mammoth pistol was in FNCS competitive, right? When we were having one of those majors, then it was like, wait a minute, we're running highlight reels of the game, and they're all of Thomas with a Mammoth pistol. This isn't a Thomas highlight, it's just of the game, and it's just all of Thomas. He is just so good with weapons like that.
Look, they're definitely going to do a great job, but some duos are uncontested and some aren't. One of them that is contesting each other at the northwest side of the map is going to be Clicks and Lacey against Venno and Reddish. Now, this is going to be an interesting one, Z.
Oh my gosh, are you kidding me? Like, on one side, old friends, old duo mates split up and now having to go head to head. On one side, you've got Reddish, who, again, kind of teetering on that like gray area of content creator pro. And then you've got Lacey, who is like basically an old-time pro, and he still says he is. Does that count? I don't know, but this is an exciting head-to-head.
I feel like a few people would put asterisks onto that FNCS Pro, Clix being one of them. But yeah, Clix and Veno, like you were saying, old teammates, old roommates. They literally played the last FNCS Global Championships together. Obviously, they did split up this year, Veno going back to Europe, but having them go face-to-face, I don't know if there's going to be too much fighting, Vivid.
Yeah, I'm happy that you kind of hit home on that, right? I think they're both going to be happy with taking the loot that they get from Steamy Sacks. A pretty big POI for the both of those duos. I want to focus in on Clix and Lacey as a duo. Obviously, in Fortnite competitive, it's very, very important to go ahead and farm your mats up. My only question with this duo, though, are they going to be able to take a break from farming those engagements to go ahead and get a couple of materials, right? Are they going to have too much fun with the event, or are they actually going to try to win?
Definitely going to be farming clips. Mats, on the other hand, that's the issue. If we think about how both of these duos play, Clix and Lacey, I was watching some streams. Lacey's like, I'm the IGL. I'm the pro. I'm the IGL. Clix is like, what do you mean? No, I'm the pro. I'm the IGL. Lacey's like, no. So they're kind of going back and forth, but I do think they will lock in when the time comes. Now, on the other hand, Veno and Reddish, they are locked in. One of the first in the practice room. Veno's going to be IGLing. They definitely have what it takes.
I'm excited to hear from this next interview. Frankie's standing by with both duos. Let's go on over.
Thank you so much. And this is an interesting LAN reunion because the last time these guys were playing in person, it was at the Global Championships in 2024, and you were playing together. You placed 11th. And now you're broken up. Do you prefer it this way, Veno?
I don't miss them. I can't win championships with them.
Okay. Excuse me, this man bought you a watch.
Already. Bought him a watch, and by the way, he was the reason we didn't win FNCS. I don't know if you've seen when we got 4th place. We were 1st place 9 games in. The last 3 games, he didn't listen to our coach. Did a dead side rotate, wrong rotate, pew pew. We're done. We're literally eliminated.
And so you sent him packing back to the UK.
Yeah, I sent him back to home.
Well, thank you so much. Let's do talk about the competition that's going to happen because Veno, you have a new teammate in Reddish, and she can frag very reliably. We saw you guys performing really well in the practice sessions here yesterday. Reddish, tell me how this teamwork is working.
I wouldn't say I'm necessarily a fragger, more of a support player. This guy killed Peterbot in a couple of games yesterday. I think we're ready, and I'm there to support him.
We know that you've also won on LAN. There was a LAN at the end of last year in London that you picked up the W4. So have you taught Veno anything?
If there's ever a zero build tournament, he knows to pick me up. That was a zero build cup, so.
But you've been practicing those builds, I know. And Lacey, have you been practicing those builds? Because I've heard you've jumped back into the game. It's like riding a bike, but is it really?
It is. It's like riding a bike for me. I was born with the talent. It's not really a skill I learned. I was born with it. But I've been VOD reviewing all last night. I was locked in, looking at the VOD, studying film, making sure that we're ready and strategize for today.
And he is a former pro player, Click, so surely he's going to be leading you in game.
Yeah, I mean, he's, a former pro player. How much earnings do you have?
$5,000.
5,000. I mean, I have almost like what, 700. She has how? You have 40,000?
I got like 40K.
Also, I want to say, why is your voice so raspy, Lacey?
You said what?
Why is your voice so raspy?
My voice raspy because last night we were VOD reviewing and I was screaming the comms. We were practicing comms last night.
Yep. Shockwave on height. He was doing all that. Yeah.
Well, I wanted to ask you guys about the showdown at Steamy Stacks, but you guys have been talking at each other so long. We're just going to see what happens in the game. Let's head back to the desk.
See, it's weird because they said they were VOD reviewing. Now, Lacey was definitely having a lot of fun. I don't think it was in Fortnite, though. Can confirm. Will that turn out well today? Will it not? I mean, he was looking awake, looking happy. I think they could do it.
Listen, when the lights come on, the cameras turn on, this is still Lacey, right? This is still Clix. This is all for show. This is the character they're letting out, but then the time comes, they're going to win it all. That's my prediction. Anyway, let's move on to the next Ospawn situation happening. We're seeing, and I actually want to come back to you for this, Tokata. We have Zemi and Cooper going up against Gone and Flakes. You've been super tapped into the Spanish community, so kind of give us the rundown of what you're seeing.
Yeah, this is interesting, because when you think of Cooper and Zemi, you look at a majority of the predictions that have been made for the Pro-Am, and Cooper Zemi, their top 3 are just set at winning the whole event. Yeah. Now, Gone and Flakes, I think, went under the radar a little bit. Flakes actually just qualified to the major finals on Brazil. They are the duo representing Brazil here today, and he's put alongside a pro. I mean, I was talking to Gorilon, who's actually here doing a viewing party in Spanish. Shout out Gorilon, and he was saying this duo is going to play aggressive. Unlike you got Steamy Stacks, kind of an uncontested, both good in their own loot, but there's also been a surprise contestation on this side of the map.
A lot of contestation going on over there. And I was actually talking to Cooper specifically yesterday. I was like, yo, what's up, Cooper? How you doing, man? How you feeling? He was like, I'm feeling confident right now. And he wasn't talking about his own play. He was pointing over at Zem and he was like, dude, this guy, he's better than me in most of the end games that we just played through. All the cups, all the practice we're getting in. Sometimes he's dropping more eliminations than I am. So the confidence kind of going into this competition, very, very high for the duo.
Yeah, and Cooper, you know, going all the way back to the 2023 Global Championships, a lot of people, for whatever reason, discredited that win. A lot of people saying that the 6 games there, you know, that was the easiest win for the FNCS. And then he has come back time and time again, making it to the grand finals, making it to the top 5 to say, it wasn't a fluke, I deserve this win, and he's here to come back once again for another FNCS title.
I love it. I love it. And I love that you pointed out as well as Zemi, because I heard that same thing, right? And when we're talking with Zemi, it's like, you know, what do you think? What would lead to your success? Another person to say the Mammoth pistol. And at that point, yeah, I kind of heard Cypher PK you know, quietly say, yeah, don't let him get that. Don't let him get that. So I'm excited to see, man. I do agree. Could this be the duo that wins it all?
100%. Both of them are incredibly strong competitors. Cooper is incredibly intelligent, but also has a great fragging ability as well. So the two of them together, I think, has a lot of potential. They are going to be contested, potentially triple contested by Faxity, but who knows if you can trust what Faxity says where he's going to be landing, Vivid.
Yeah, it'll be crazy to see if they actually do end up fighting us one. But again, you know, Cooper Zemi entering that rare. Both of them kind of pros in their own regards.
Okay, you know what time it is. We've got an interview lined up with both the duos once again.
Yes, I'm so excited to have Cooper and Zemi and Flakes and Gon. We'll come to the Brazilian guys first, because yesterday I was having a chat with you and you were like, we're pastors, we're brothers. And it feels like this competition might have even brought you closer together.
Yes. I love to play with Gon. And here we have more synergy. And I want to see this again in Brazil, man. In our competition in Brazil.
We are we are friends. Like we talk like a year. We're talking like for a year. We play a lot of tournaments together before the Pro-Am. We play a lot of duo. I don't think we play trios, but we play duo together, trying to call for Cash Cup duos. And
maybe you can join my trio, man.
We have chemistry.
Bye, Swetan. I will put Gon on my team. Bye, Susu.
Bye, Su. Bye, Jonas.
Well, they have been rivals in the recent major finals because you actually made the major finals. But Flakes, you've been telling me that you're more of a support player.
Yes, I qualified to grand finals in Brazil, but I am like a support player, yes. I take heals for my team, mats, like a walking llama, and I help them to perform well. This is what I do.
Well, let's head over to your rivals at Dirty Docs, because you guys are going to be having off-spawn battles today. Zemi, you've been grinding the game, it turns out. 260 hours in Chapter 6, more than Flakes. That makes me feel like you're very, very keen to take this home for you.
That's what I'm here for. I mean, as soon as I found out Cooper is my teammate, we started practicing every single day pretty much. Every single tournament there's been upcoming to this tournament, we've played it. We're very confident, and I couldn't ask for a better teammate. Cooper is incredible at the game, and he's also down to put in the hours and practice, and it's been good so far.
You are playing with the global champion. Cooper, come here. Let me know, what's it been like training with Zemi? How does he compare with the likes of your former teammates?
It's been really good. I think he picks up things really quickly as he competes at a high level with zero builds. So it's been a lot easy to adapt to, and overall he's been a great teammate, and I'm stoked for today.
Right. This has been a little bit too nice, okay? We need to turn up the heat, and we need to find out who is going to be the dons of the Dirty Docs today. So, Zemi, why are you taking it today?
Listen, we're gonna take it because, again, I think we have slightly more practice than you guys. You guys are a great team, but we've had more practice, man, and I think it just comes down to the preparation. Best of luck, though.
So he's had the practice, but you guys, what have you got?
Bro, chemistry, yes. We play for a lot of time together, Gon.
We have the Disney Holo.
Yes, the Disney Holo from Brazil, the Brazilian Disney Holo. They understand after the tournament.
So it's the kings of Desian Hollow versus the guys who put the work in. Who is going to reign supreme at the Dirty Docs? Maybe the desk can give us an idea.
I love that Frankie's like, all right, guys, fighting words. And Zemi's like, yeah, we're going to win. Everything's cool. Everything's nice. Good luck. We're going to win, though. And it's like, Zemi, give me something. Give me more, man. I love Zemi, though. Obviously, we are very excited to see both. And not only just these two duos going ahead, but everyone competes. So let's do something fun. Let's talk about predictions. Who could walk away winning it all? We've put our heads together. We made some predictions, and here is a little look here. Who wants to go ahead and start?
Well, first of all, he says we put our heads together. We didn't. We all kept the secrets from each other because we're very competitive in our own right. And as you can see, Takada and I, we have the same choice, the French gentle mates of Nikov and Podesai. If you guys watch the practice games like we did yesterday, they would be your choice as well.
Look, I don't want to leak anything too early, but when the Pro-Am was announced, I think they went under the radar a little bit. They weren't in those top 5, top 3 predictions, and then we got here. We were seeing how much practice they were putting in, how well both of these players were performing, and everyone's like, wait, hold on a second. What's going on here? This duo is looking insane, and I do think that they have what it takes to come out on top today.
And you know, we joke about Lacey and Stable Ronaldo being these ex-FNCS pros. I mean, Podesai Nikov has been playing since the World Cup. He has been a competitor for a long time. And although he may have not been competing for the last few years, understanding what takes priority in a competitive mindset is so valuable.
I can't lie, that duo kind of made me bat an eye, but me and my boy, Jacob PR, sticking to our NAC roots. We know who dominates over there in the majors. It's going to be Peterbot paired up with Aussie Antics. You want to know something, Takada? This actually surprises me because earlier on you were like, oh my gosh, it's 1 point per elimination, only 10 points for the Victory Royale. Obviously very, very heavy when it comes down to the elimination-based format, right? Peterbot has had the most eliminations over the past 5 FNCSs on his region, and he has only been beaten actually globally 1 time, and that was by Vico. Constantly gets the most eliminations. We're in an elimination-based format. I've got Peterbot.
Now, hold on. Here's the problem, though, Vivid, because Peterbot is Peterbot, but as we saw in the practice games yesterday, if he goes down, there's a lot of duos close by, like Monger, who says, oh, I happen to have a Mammoth. You're still in the air. That's a free point for me.
I got something for you, Zeke. It don't matter. It's Pete.
Hey, he got me. He got me. But my prediction is Clix and Lacey because it's Clix and Lacey. They are going to win. Now, of course, I know what you guys want. You guys want to meet some of these players. You want to see these duos in person. So why don't we go ahead and bring out the first 4.
Make some noise for Zemi and Cooper. 2 Titans from competitive and content are here to duke it out and reload, looking to take that top spot.
Let's hear it for Reddish and Benno. Friendly faces, but not so friendly in game, and with an unmatched competitive drive, they're ready to take it home.
It's Big Vaxity and Reason. Even though these guys are a last-minute duo, they will not disappoint today, mixing great content with brute force.
You gotta get loud for Kanata and Stable Ronaldo. This energetic powerhouse is ready to get the party started.
Just the first 4, and we are already going absolutely crazy. I am so excited to see Faxity and Reason play. Faxity being the last-minute sub in there. Just so excited to see him compete on this stage. He's been running around. He's been talking to people, giving insights, trying to learn and grow. And I feel like he is so focused right now. And you pair him up with someone like Reason?
Yeah, no, I mean, Big Faxity, a lot of people look to him as, viewing party, a little bit of content, very close with a lot of the players, but he is also pretty dang good at Fortnite.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of his content actually revolves on being involved, being in calls with other pro players, so he's constantly in those conversations, right? Not to mention also doing all of those zone wars. Shout out to Faxity, right? Such a big career. He's got a lot of momentum going on in the content craze. You saw him throw up the X, rep the set, recently joined X set.
Oh yeah, I love supporting my fellow NA West players. You mentioned the zone wars, also very good friends with Reason. The synergy is gonna be at an all-time high with this duo.
You talk about synergy. I like the word chemistry. Kanada, Stable Ronaldo. This is the other duo that's competing for the loudest duo
They're not
at
competing.
the Pro-Am.
No, they win. They already won. I think through the player lounge, we've seen that they have already won that. I mean, honestly, when this duo was announced, I was very excited, but also a little scared. Not for the rest of the competition, but for the audience members. It is going to get very loud from this duo.
It's been mentioned already that coming back to the game, and we were talking to Lazy, it's just like riding a bike. I think the person who's jumped back on that bike the best has actually been Ronaldo. His mechs look very, very clean.
Oh my gosh, look, I'm getting word. I would love to keep talking about these duos, but we got next 4 to meet. Bring them in.
It's Cypher and Moxie. The LA takeover has begun, and they're not looking to go home empty-handed. Show us what you got.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's Mongrel and Allier, Britain's finest, some might say, with tons of experience in the bag. They're ready to put others in the bin.
Viva la France, Sneakoff, and Podicide. The Gentlemates have entered the stage, and you know that trophy would look oh so good in their office.
Let's hear it for Courage, JD, and Cold. Pretty bold to announce yourself as the champion already, but we respect it. Let's see you back up that statement.
Oh man, and a quick shout out there to our friends over at Make-A-Wish. We had some very special friends come out and kind of get to feel the crowd, feel the vibe in those few moments. We wanted to highlight here Nikoff and Podicide. I mean, guys, this is the duo that pretty unanimously everyone seems to believe these are the guys. These are the ones that are going to win it all.
I mean, yeah, we already briefly talked about them just a few minutes ago. Absolutely incredible competitors. You know, ex-FNCS Pro joined by a current FNCS Pro is quite the dynamic duo.
Yeah, I mean, always being involved in the viewing parties, knows what's going on with Fortnite competitive, staying in tune, grinding in the shadows, paired up with Bodasai and Nikov. They're looking scary.
We do have the Global Championships in France later this year, so, you know, maybe they want to give us a little sneak peek of what we might see.
All right, all right. We also had a chance there. You heard the crowd go crazy. Cypher, PK, and Moxie coming together. I mean, I feel like the stadium, they've chosen their winners.
Oh, yeah. I mean, landing over in East Slurpee Swamp right there, they have a great position, but also Cypher PK, even though he is a content creator, he is an incredible competitor. And then, of course, Moxie, winner of the Milk Cup, one of the best female Fortnite pros in the world.
Yeah, a lot of potential here for this duo. Talked to Cypher, he was like, yeah, I love my duo. We got the same game plan. We're jumping in, feeling confident.
I love it. And again, shout outs to Make-A-Wish. Luca, Tyler, thanks for hanging out. But it's time. Let's meet our next 4.
Give it up for Lachlan and Mr. Savage. The boys are ready to hit the ground running and combine maximum content with pure skill. It's showtime.
Everybody say hello to Regs and Nate Hill. They've got LAN events, they've got experience, and they're making for some fierce competition.
Make some noise for Captain Shota and Koyota, all the way from Japan. These guys are here to make their mark on the international stage with a big win.
Next up, it's Booga and Typical Gamer, a World Cup title paired up with world-class content. This is the perfect recipe for success.
Whoa, TG, my fault, OG. I did not know you were absolutely yoked. Oh my gosh. Once again, the crowd have chosen their favorites. It's Typical Gamer, it's Booga. You can hear the crowd is electric right now. Man, what more could we say about these 2 OGs of the Fortnite scene?
Look, I almost got shaken off the stage. When Booga and Typical Gamer walked out, I literally almost fell off with how excited the crowd got. But that's at no surprise when you pair up the most followed creator in the Fortnite space alongside the world Cup solos winner, it's what to expect.
You know, the reload game mode throws a bunch of old items, old weapons that we've seen in Fortnite competitive before. And if any's going to be good adapting to any sort of meta, any of those items, it's going to be Bugha, the guy with the most experience.
And I mean, you look at typical gamer, he was competing in NA West FNCS, and he was able to make it through the qualifier. He is also in one of those gray areas, like you like to say, Vivid.
Okay, what about Shota, Koyota coming in from Japan, man? I mean, listen, they've got the rock, paper, scissors on lock. The question is, who's throwing paper?
Look, I'm going to ask you a question, Zeke. I was actually taking a peek in the player lounge. Koyota was 1v1ing Peterbot in creative. Who do you think won?
It's got to be Pete, man.
Koyota actually won 5-3 in 1v1s creative against Peterbot. So he's got the mechanical skill on deck. Also has some little surprises that we've seen in terms of game strategies, so I think they have what it takes.
That's the thing with Koyota. Every single time that he shows up to one of these international events, whether it be globals, whether it be a Pro-Am, everybody is always quickly reminded he is just so good, especially when it comes to mechanics.
I mean, there's a reason they call him the Asia's Peterbot, man. He is such a phenomenal player, and like you said, super innovative. I remember back when we had jetpacks in the game, he was literally eliminating people in the air. I'd love to see it again.
Woo! Let's hope there's jetpacks in reload, but for now, let's meet our next 4 duos.
Their names are Alex and Loser Fruit, but there's no losers in sight. It's time to represent Power and Oceania.
Give it up for Daya and Seti, both land winners with a bunch of experience, ready to give it their all in the FNCS Pro-Am tonight. Good luck.
Locked and loaded, Thomas and Somerset. This lobby better watch out, because with these two around, first is the only thing on their mind.
It's Aussie Antics and Peterbot. We're in for some action with these guys today. Can they live up to the expectations from the community? Time to find out.
I mean, I'm feeling it. This is insane. We still have one more group left to go, but let's talk about Daya and Seti. I mean, Seti's an invitational champion, a legend in the EU scene. You pair him up with Daya, who just recently won the Milk Cup LAN. I mean, you know, Viv, this is looking like a really strong duo.
You mentioned it, right? Both of them have that LAN experience, not only LAN experience, LAN winning experience. I mean, I swear this duo should be good on paper. It'll be interesting to see if they can actually fulfill all of the hype coming into the weekend.
Yeah, when you think of EU competitive and a new season starts, the pros, the players, the duo, the players that they look at first is Cammy and Seti. They're always ahead of the game in terms of meta, in terms of how to play this season out. So I would not be surprised if they're also going to be ahead of the meta going into today.
They are going to be contested at Logjam by Thomas and Somerset, but honestly, if there is a duo that could probably come up with a strategy real quick with how to deal with that duo, it is going to be Daya and Seti. But we got to talk about our OCE players.
That's right, Alex. We've got paired up with Loser Fruit. I mean, in yesterday's practice games, guys, Alex was going crazy. Thankfully, they had Callum come out with them. Man, these guys are looking really, really strong.
Yeah, when we were watching the games, there I am seeing a player with like 8 eliminations. I'm like, oh, of course, Peterbot's going crazy. Oh, wait, no, that's Alex. Alex is eliminating everyone.
Another one of those instances where we're reminded by one of these international players kind of joining us here on the stage that they are just so good mechanically. I was talking to Alex just before we started, and he was like, yo, Vivid, like, hype me up. I'm like, dude, what are you talking about? I don't need to. You were dropping crazy elimination yesterday. Just do that again. Everybody will be hyped for you.
100%. 4-time FNCS champ on OCE. You were mentioning it, Kelly. He had the highest amount of eliminations in any of the practice matches yesterday.
I have a very small insight from Loser Fruit as well. We had a very deep conversation. Said, Loser Fruit, what do you want out of the weekend? She said, I want one thing. One elimination onto Lachlan. That's it. With that being said, one final wave of duos. Bring them in.
Get loud for Queasy and Nick at 30. These guys will never back down and look to have an amazing day. I can guarantee to see them on high ground.
Flakes and God have entered the building. competition.
Jacob and Cammy, bringing the pride of Poland all the way to Los Angeles. Let's see if this duo can live up to the pressure of the competition.
It's your content kings, Quicks and Lacey. They are already first in everyone's hearts, but now it's time to place first on the big stage.
The hype is real. The players are now taking the stage, and we are getting ready for our first game. We wanted to talk about here for a moment, Cammy and Jacob. So not that long ago, we kind of talked about Seti, right? And I feel like what's happening right now is Seti, typically when you look at this duo, Seti and Cammy, they kind of come into tournaments real quiet, under the radar. And now you're telling me, Tokata, we have Seti already doing that. And now on the other end of Slurp Rush, we have Cammy and Jacob doing the same thing?
That's the interesting part, right? They are literally on the complete opposite side of the map. Now it's a full Polish duo, and when we think of strategy, we think of meta. I know they have something hidden up their sleeves. I always see them practicing. They are always locked in, and I'm excited to see kind of what that secret's gonna be.
A couple of our duos competing today, obviously they're flying under the radar. It's no surprise that Cammy and Jacob are one of those duos, but I think they're comfortable being like that, right? Cammy and Seti kind of like to do that when they're playing those FNCS majors, so no surprise that we're not really hearing a lot about this duo right now.
You're talking about teams flying under the radar. A team not flying under the radar is Nick A30 and Queasy. I mean, what a combo. You can already hear the cheering again. Nick A30 is such an incredible personality for Fortnite, joined by Queasy, one of the best IGLs to Kata.
What's interesting about Nick A30 is before Fortnite, he was actually studying to become a doctor. So now paired up with the GOAT IGL, he is gonna have all the resources needed to keep him alive and play that support role.
Well, obviously, Queasy, one of the GOATs when it comes to the IGL category. Talking about Fortnite, are they going to be able to pull off the typical surgical procedure that is take height, don't die?
I love it. You know, and after yesterday, we had these practice games to look at, and unfortunately, Nick had a moment where he kind of crash padded Queasy back in the storm. So I said, hey, Nick, I kind of walked up and said, hey, Nick, what is the one thing we're not doing tomorrow? He said, you saw the crash pad play, didn't you? You know, and I said, of course I did, Nick. And he's like, hey, look, Zeke, tomorrow that's not happening. Don't worry. And of course, the fact that we saw them on height, I love that you're kind of saying that kind of clinical, surgical precision, bro. I was like, wait a minute, are we watching a Pro-Am or are we watching FNCS?
I mean, it's going to be a guarantee. We're going to see Queasy, we're going to see Nick A30 up on the high ground. Are they going to be able to control it, right? Maintain it? We'll have to see.
That's the difficult part, right? It did get taken from them in last moments, but it was because of a questionable crash pad play. So, you know, they had moments to practice. It was good. It was a practice game. Today is the real deal.
The one concern I have for this duo isn't about being contested, isn't about being able to play well, is how is Nick A30 going to deal with Queasy's language? We know that all the people competing here are going to be streaming their perspective, so we know, and also there's going to be some listen-ins as well. We got a lot of possible chaoticness for the family-friendly player.
Yeah, absolutely, and you're going to kind of talk about, you know, chaos, right? That's what Reload's all about. If we're taking a look at some of the items that we might expect some of our competitors to go ahead and pick up today, mobility being one of the most important things whenever we talk about Fortnite competitive. There's actually so much mobility in a Reload, right? We got the shockwaves, obviously those breaking builds. Those are going to cause some chaos. We got the grapplers. You can make so many, you know, crazy plays with that, avoid fall damage, you know, jump on the high ground with that pretty easily. The crash pads that we were kind of talking about, they send you so far. When we're talking about a smaller map, it feels like they send you halfway across the map.
And also thinking about strategies. There's a lot of mobility, but also, look, I don't want to leak it for the players, right? But seeing the practice games, if you're uncontested, we saw some duos just send the pro player somewhere else, let them battle it out. The creator farmed up the mats, got all the loot, got everything they needed to play out the later parts of the match. And hey, if the pro gets eliminated, you just reload back in, take all that loot. So I'm curious to see if we see that come to play.
I mean, yeah, that was a strategy that we saw in Major 2, right? With the new reboot purchasing that you can do. That is definitely a competitive level strategy. And that's what we need right now. A lot of these players prepping, getting ready. It has been all about the scrimming and the VOD reviewing for these duos. Who has been able to put in the most practice? How have they synergized as duos? Because this is it. This is the Pro-Am, right? We haven't had one in 5 years. A lot is on the line right now.
Vibes, I mean, at an all-time high, right? Obviously, there is definitely some more competitive edge, but there's also just like a lot of fun, kind of bringing together, you know, both ends of the same coin, right? Hyper-competitive FNCS, and then content creators, right? Who, when you bring them together, it's like we're one big family coming together once again. I mean, again, having old OGs coming together and be like, yeah, I still rock Fortnite. Yeah, you want a 1v1? Oh, I just dumped you? That's crazy.
Yeah, I heard you guys talking, saying that there's already people before the show even started being like, we need another one next year, and the games hadn't even started yet.
Yeah, it's crazy stuff. As we were kind of going down the line right there and showing some of our duos get locked in, start to, you know, talk some strategy with each other, I saw Thomas HD and Somerset kind of pop in, and that made me, you know, remember a conversation that I had with Somerset just earlier on today, and I think it's very, very important because this is something that we can talk about when it comes to every single duo. I was like, hey, Summer, you know, how you feeling? She was like, surprisingly, I'm not nervous at all. I think that's like really, really big because, you know, from her perspective, it's like, oh yeah, you know, she's used to being nervous when it comes to competitive events. She's finally kind of hit her stride where the nerves are finally going away and she's going to be able to lock into the competition.
Yeah, confidence is key, especially when eliminations, I mean, we talked about it, 10 elims is the equivalent of a victory royale. So if you're able to just farm a good amount of elims at the start of the match, you have a very good shot of getting first place. Now, what I'm thinking about as well, we've had a bit of drop spot changes, but maybe we've had a little bit of drop spot baits, right? I know Mongrel Allier said they were landing on Peterbot and Aussie Antics. Will they actually do that now that it's game time? Reason Faxvidi said they're landing on Cooper's Emmy and Gone and Flakes. That's like 3 of the most powerful duos in the same POI. I don't know if it's really going to happen.
I mean, did you see Aussie Antics video of Ali A watching Peterbot build? I don't know if they're going to be dropping, and if they are, they're going to be doing it very carefully. But like you guys are saying, it's all about the vibes. We've had so much fun. There's just been so much content going out. We also have a lot of co-streamers up in the audience right now. There's people representing so many different regions. This is what Fortnite is all about.
Yeah, 100%. Very, very excited to kind of jump into the action. Gosh, Zeke, you know, I got a question for you, Zeke. You know, obviously you kind of punched in your ticket, Clicks and Lacey yesterday, you know, Lacey after his extensive VOD review session last night. How you feeling about your pick?
I wasn't aware of the VOD review session personally, but listen, this is still Clicks, this is still Lacey, you know. Clicks is looking really good, right? Again, we had kind of 3 practice games yesterday we got to watch. We got to kind of clue in, see how things are kind of going. Clicks, to him, it looks like I'm just watching Major 2, right? It looks like I'm just watching the same Clicks I just got done watching. And of course, with Lacey, like, yeah, this guy loves content, of course, but he knows how much Clicks wants it. He knows what this means to Clicks. So when the time comes, he will lock in.
We all know the ongoing joke of the 4th place curse from Clicks. Unfortunately, getting 4th place again with Venno back last year. And then this year, getting 3rd place in Major 1. Major 2, he gets 2nd place. We were already talking about if Thomas HD wins, would this officially be his first FNCS title? Well, what about that question for Clicks?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people are kind of, I've seen it on socials a lot. Clicks is actually in his prime right now. And definitely those placements, they're kind of backing it up. We're talking about storylines when it comes down to primes and everything like that. Why don't we go ahead and focus in on Mr. Savage and Lachlan, right? Mr. Savage was retired from Fortnite Competitive earlier this year, and it did not take long before he kind of rejoined us for Major 2, joined another trio, got right back into the action, so I think he's locked in right there. The thing that I love about Mr. Savage is that, you know, I remember competing in Immense Sky, and he always had his supporter creator code. It was always like 200 IQ, because everybody always kind of coined him as the smartest player. Of course, now we could see it right a couple minutes ago, right? He changed his code now to code Mr. Savage, but still has those smarts.
Has the IQ from retired to qualifying grand finals, but now competing here at the Pro-Am. And you were talking about, you know, does it count as an FNCS win? Well, if it does, you know, if Mr. Savage Lachlan wins, even Peterbot Aussie Antics, that means Aussie Antics is an FNCS win in Thomas HD does it, and Clicks does it. You know, that is definitely gonna be a funny ongoing joke.
I mean, how can you not be entertained, right? And again, the fact that this is reload, you know, obviously in FNCS we watch, someone goes down, it's like, well, see you next game. Now someone goes down, it's like, okay, well, they're reloading back in. How do we kind of approach this new situation? Does Thomas HD have a mammoth pistol halfway across the map? Did he catch you coming from the sky? Like, there's so many cool things. And of course, with the loot pool that is reload, there's so much chaos that can happen from even opening a single chest.
I think it's important to kind of talk about, yeah, you're going to kind of get reloaded, right? Obviously, you're going to be flying in the sky. You're pretty exposed. And we kind of see how that kind of works out in competitions before, whenever there's like launch pads in the lobby, in the loophole. But there was a change not too long ago to kind of avoid some of that, right? Make sure you can kind of glide down further, closer to the land, have a little bit more immunity. Yeah, to kind of prevent some of those beams coming out of the sky. I can tell you right now, from the practice games yesterday, with these professional players in the lobby, it feels like it almost changed nothing.
Yeah, it really did not. I mean, the aim of these players is on a whole other level. And what I'm thinking is, in a lot of the performance evaluations, the players are playing safe. They were, hiding the box, going for the late games, and trying to get a good placement. Because in those end games, you are going to get a lot of opportunities for eliminations. But I'm trying to think to myself, okay, if you're low ground, you're going to have a lot of opportunities, players dropping down, running out of mats, a lot of elims. High ground, you're going to have to play aggressive if you want to match that amount of eliminations. And I think that's going to be kind of the deciding factor on who does end in first place.
Another deciding factor is how these players are going to be preparing for their win condition in the end game. Obviously, with this being reload, we know that it has a high potential of going to a heal off. And we've seen a few players, such as Peterbot and Ozzy, having 4 chug jugs in their loadout at one point, which is a great way to prepare. It's not the best way to get eliminations, though, and you do need to have a bit of a combination of mobility and weapons and everything. But I think players that are preparing for that win condition is what's going to set them apart.
Love the fact that you're talking about the heal off. Yeah, it would be no surprise if at least 1, 2, 3, maybe even 4, maybe 5, maybe all 6 actually go down to that heal off, right? We got so many items that can kind of support that. Chug jugs, med kits, we've got those slurp juices in. But it's so funny because yesterday when we were watching those practice games, I was like, wow, we've even got the terrain, POIs like Slurpee that have those barrels available. Cooper, so smart, making sure that he went ahead and utilized those for his heal off win condition. Gosh, they're just so smart sometimes.
And that's why it's important to put in the practice on this new map. I mean, not only do you have chug jugs, med kits, splashes, but like you were mentioning, if you know where all these slurp barrels are, if you know where you need to go quickly into zone to keep yourself alive in the heal off, I'm sure we're gonna have a lot of them.
I mean, bringing us back 3 years ago, invitational final game, Camiseti versus Queasy Vino, not knowing what you can do at a drop spot can really change the story of a game.
Why would you bring that up, Kelly? It's not like this is going to be a super close competition by the end of the day. That would be insane if it was, but it's that time. We're ready to jump aboard that battle bus for the first game out of the FNCS Pro-Am. So casters, over to you.
It's definitely time. You guys are talking so much about those practice games, Taco, and they are out the window because the nerves have to have settled now. The battle bus is going to launch, the players are going to drop in, and everything that you practice, some are going to be put to the test.
But so many of these creators, so many of these pros, they're just so familiar with what it's like to have all eyes on them. And so with that, I think the expectation kind of settles more into the fact that I just don't want to be last.
Yeah, that's one of the biggest things is, everybody gets a little bit of that prize pool. It gets increasingly more, $50,000 for that first place, but it's almost like exactly what you said. No one wants to get last. Everybody wants to hoist that trophy, and it kind of leads to my prediction of Peterbot and Ozzy antics, right? Huge fan of Ozzy. Everybody's got in the world probably a fan of Peterbot, but it was actually at last year's Global Championship. I asked him, what's next? How are you going to do it? He doesn't necessarily care to just win. He wants to dominate. He wants to be the best player in the game, and with 5 FNCS championships, he is well on his way there.
But that's just the thing. The caliber of competitors that we have in this lobby mixed in with what you would expect to be a little bit more of a casual environment, but no, that's not the case. The desk has been touching on it so heavily. A lot of our creators have really been putting in the time, effort, and hustle, and it's going to showcase here today. These matches, it might only be 6 games, Jacob, but I'm expecting some pretty big shifts to develop, especially by the time we hit the halfway point.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be interesting, especially games 5 and 6. Those are the ones my eyes are definitely going to be glued on, because that's when a lot of the chaos will start to ensue just a little bit. Depending on where you're at in leaderboard, we already see it in our FNCS final style lobbies. You need 30 points, you need 40 points. You have to pick it up through eliminations. This format is basically elimination heavy. You don't start to earn placement points until you start to get into the top 10, and most of them is in the top 5. So it's all about consistency and eliminations, and I think there's a few teams already talking to them. They have some tricks underneath their sleeve, Taco. I'm ready to see them.
Look, everybody wants to be optimistic and anticipate that they're going to be able to find the eliminations when it matters. Maybe they can be consistent with their placements, but one of my favorite quotes of the day actually came from Vaxity earlier this morning, because he said, if by games 5, 6, it looks like it's not happening, guess who I'm crashing out on? It's going to be Peterbot. If I'm not winning, he's not winning it either. And that kind of mentality, I wouldn't be surprised to see take place amongst multiple duos here today, because it's all about the pride sometimes, Jacob.
No, it definitely is. And, you know, coming in and watching some of the practice games, you know, right out of the gates, Peterbot and Ozzy landing at their Slurpee Swamps. But then I saw Faxity Reason. I saw Alex as a solo while Loser Fruit was uncontested at her drop. I saw Booga and TG actually get aggressive and take the top of the Slurpee building. So honestly, I feel like it's anybody's games, and these zones are going to be so pivotal because by zones 5, zone 6, just one zone before the reboot, that's when it's going to get interesting. But you guys heard the battle bus, and it is going to be ready for game number 1.
This is what we have all been waiting for. 1 day and 6 matches to determine who our 2025 FNCS Pro-Am Champ team is going to be. And initially off the jump, Peterbot, Aussie, they've got control of Slurpee, but they've got company.
If that would have just been a Mammoth pistol right out of the gate for Peterbot, I would be worried for Booga and TG, but now it's just a bunch of SMGs. Ozzy already found the Mammoth. He's going to go ahead and deliver that one first class on over to Peterbot as soon as he gets the chance, but they're just going to shield up, get a lot of these chests. In reload, it's about 100% chest spawn, so you got a lot of opportunity to get the loot that you need.
Keep an eye on where Allier and Mongrel are actually going to be headed. Clake's Lacey, a little bit of pressure coming out from Venno and Reddish. And typically, you could expect that some of these POIs, you can just split them even 50-50 for the most part, but I don't think that a 50-50 clean split is the intention here.
No, I don't think it is for the most part, but because of those 100%, there's a lot of floor loot and stuff that you can split it rather safely, or you can choose to fight it later once you do get that full loadout. But I did see in the feed, typical gamer taking down Courage. Now Cypher PK is going down. So a lot of these players already just going right at it to try to get those early elimination points so they don't have to worry about a deficit later on.
And it's always rough to be one of the first players eliminated because then you're just an open season target for the rest of the lobby. Alex, if he'd had that reload online, we might have even expected to see him fire a shot out of that Mammoth one more time, but Slurpee Swamp getting a little bit encroached upon, and this is Aussie and Peterbot's territory, but more so Peterbot's.
Everybody kind of switching things up. It does look like Seti is just away from where we thought he was going to drop initially and put himself in a 1v2 situation against Savage and Lachlan. But Savage just gets Mammoth, and I believe it was Peterbot from on top, and already he's moving in for the straight elimination. Down goes Savage as Peterbot is instantly getting busy here in game 1.
Peterbot sees action. Peterbot wants his own part of it. Finding that first elimination now means everybody else is left scrambling. Lachlan trying to escape. He knows Pete is on the hunt, but Peterbot, watch your back. There's more company, more targets in sight.
It's like the Peterbot hit list, and it scores 38 players, every single one. He's trying to get at least a single elimination on everybody in the game. Here in Savage getting rebooted, and these are the big warnings that we were talking about. It's just like a flare in the sky. They know exactly where you're at, and Peterbot is just on the hunt for Mr. Savage yet again, who luckily finds at least a shockwave to create just a little bit more distance.
But how far can you run when Peterbot is chasing you down like this? He still has a couple of shots, one more left inside of this Mammoth, and then it'll be up close and personal. Thunder Shotgun pulled at the ready. Savage clip, but he doesn't have enough HP to tango, and that's gonna be a knock. Another elimination for Peter. Who needs a warm-up when you've got game 1 to get things done?
Yeah, I don't know if anybody knows, but Savage kind of just helped the lobby right there because you saw Peterbot only had one more Mammoth pistol shot left, so he's not going to be able to do that much damage from far away anymore unless he finds his loot llama in the fact of Aussie Antics to see if you have any more of those that I can borrow. Thomas HD, Somerset, just moving north from their original drop spot, and you can see they have a pretty decent loadout, but when we're looking for Thomas HD, no sniper, no Mammoth pistol, he doesn't have the firepower that we expect him to have yet.
A little bit of, you take this, I'll take that from Somerset and Thomas. But Aussie, Peterbot, they're not done. Pete especially, he's just keying everybody. And Mongrel, this is a conversation starter. Peterbot annoyed even that these two would have the audacity to challenge them at Slurpee Swamp. But Peterbot, Allier nearly bringing Pete down. Pete actually gonna be forced to pull back But Aussie, he's got the supportive measure. He knows his responsibility, and he's going to make sure that Pete is safe and sound.
And the little things, Taco, it's the little things right there for Ozzy, being able to go in, sneak in. He edited the backside cover for Peterbot to safely escape and gave the shields and heals exactly what he needs in a situation like that, because it was definitely a tough spot to be in for a quick moment. But relatively early, third zone, only one tick of damage. You could still stay and stagger yourself back if you need be.
But you see Aussie play back up, but then immediately goes right back to the farming. It'll be a test of endurance for those two, making their way out of Slurpy Swamp. But Nikov, Podesai, can't even classify them as a dark horse because these are two very high-tier competitors. But with the way that they're kind of trying to position right now, Jacob, looks like they don't want to get caught up in too much of that early commotion. They'd rather prioritize the positioning.
Yeah, I was talking to them in the player room before it started. They're just going to play their game. They're not concerned with everybody's drop spots. They're not concerned with everybody's strategies. They're not even concerned with anybody sleeping on them. They say, hey, that's a blessing, because they're not going to see what's coming. And I think they're just focusing on prioritizing the rotation this time around. That's why they're going towards the north, but towards the eastern side of the zone is going to be gone, and Flakes, they've had a rough time. That surprise triple contestation could delay your timing so much.
And even with Vaxity and Reason kind of calling out the fact, hey, we're just looking to take the dockside entirely out of Salty Docks, but Cooper made a great point. He called out that those two are eventually going to have to rotate in, and guess where they're going to have to go through? Both of these duos opposite ends, so the fight was inevitable from Salty, and it's kind of left everybody a little bit more scattered.
Take a look at this, though. Typical gamer, one of the most viewed Fortnite creators in the world right now. And he's carrying the World Cup champion Booga 2 eliminations to 0. He has 7 crash pads, the legendary Slurp Juice. He has a very good loadout. Right now, the only real concern for them is how they're going to make their way in towards zone. They did let 1 or 2 teams already pass them on that rotation, and there's a third towards the north.
Hey, you can't sleep on TG, though. You have to remember, this is someone who's been playing alongside Quinn even out of the West region on NA, and they've been able to have some pretty strong performances. He's definitely a strong competitor. I'm excited to see how they continue to cook in this lobby, but Kanata, Ronaldo, they already got a little bit clipped, a little bit tagged up from Typical Gamer and Booga, so they are very much aware they might be getting pressed here soon.
Mammoth Pistol is going to be in Kanata's hands. They Ronaldo, kind of like clean up loadout, the Stinger. Kanata can land a good amount of damage with that Mammoth Pistol. Whether either one of the shotgun or the SMG, he's going to be able to clean that one up easy, but they're just on the side of the mountain. A lot of teams already pressing forward in that rotation. They're just kind of biding their time. They're a team with 2 FNC as champions, by the way, on it, that know that patience is a virtue, and just being able to just slowly let other players make the mistakes that you can capitalize on.
And hey, Alex kind of carrying over that performance from yesterday's practice lobbies. Already 3 eliminations. He's definitely keeping in mind just how impactful those individual elim points will actually amount to. And he's got Gone and Flakes in his sights. Poor Nate Hill doesn't even get a chance to respond. Threw up an attempt to defend himself, but Alex just way too quick on the trigger.
And that's what we were talking about in those practice games. Alex going punch for punch with the likes of Peterbot in terms of getting simple eliminations. As we're seeing the zone, it is going to close up just a little bit, but it's a 50-50 with the whole south side being in the zone, and that's why you see Peterbot and Ozzy just trying to rotate to the north. It's not a ton of damage by any means, Taco, but you can see they're trying to save and utilize their heals for as long as possible.
And the problem is that Chug Jug that Ozzy's holding onto isn't for him. That has got Peterbot's name on it. And the longer that Aussie can hold on to that without having to actually use it on himself, probably the better off they're going to feel with these rotates. And the direction that they're headed, though, Somerset, Thomas HD, they might have an opportunity here to try and cut off some teams, play a little bit of spoiler to this edge of zone.
Yeah, loadout's looking pretty good. They got that Chug Cannon, so that's basically infinite heals. You just need the timing to let them charge up. As Cold and Courage find themselves all the way toward the north, Steamy stacks, but there's about 6 teams on this side of the map. They find themselves in the zone, though. That's a luxury they know they can count on for now.
This is still a nice readjustment in comparison to a lot of the troubles that we saw them encountering in yesterday's practice games. Courage, Cold, they'd rather bide their time. They don't actually have to throw away their positioning anytime soon, but if Regs and Nahill get a little bit too close in their space, you can expect some sparks to fly.
Yeah, and I feel like it's this point of the game, the nerves start to just get a little bit more up there because those reboots are about to turn off in Zone 7. So most of the teams have already rotated. You can see it in the minimap in close proximity of one another. So even though if you go down here, now it's the 6 zone, you will reboot, but where are you gonna go? Where are you gonna find the loot? So that's why you're seeing a lot of these teams taking it just a little bit more serious than some of the games that we saw yesterday.
Plus, you got to keep in mind, Cooper, Zemi, they were grinding all morning. They've got to be feeling very warmed up, doing nonstop 2v2s up against Kanata and stable Ronaldo. And the way that they just shockwave towards that center zone, they're bound to get caught up in a little bit of action. But Reddish, Veno, first off, they want to be the ones intervening. Gon and Blake, they've got an exchange up against Kanata. They took out Ronaldo, but Reddish and Veno, they don't want to let up any pressure. They're just going to continuously spray into where that action's taking place.
I just feel so bad for Ronaldo right now. I don't even know where he's going to end up landing, but if he can find his way back to Kanata, that will be good. And they are kind of deep in the back of the zone. This is about what are his chances, which is going to be relatively good. I don't even know how he just done it, but he did it.
That's what you look at a former FNCS champ for, okay? Ronaldo's got his method. He's got some tricks up his sleeve. He's got a little bit of vengeance. It's typical gamer. Gon and Flakes interrupting. That's just so rude.
Just tough spot to be in, too. He couldn't even fully stand up. He was kind of stuck, crouched down at the top of the mountain. Cooper, Zemi, honestly, leading up into this Pro-Am, this has to be one of the most predicted teams in top 5, one of the most predicted teams to actually win the FNCS Pro-Am. But hold up, Cole getting busy. Courage said they were going to take out Cypher PK. I'm not sure if he said he was going to do it himself or he was going to let Cole do it for him.
Look, who else was getting their duo bananas? Who else was getting their duo water? Courage, that's who. And it's showing off here. Cold, feeling primed and ready to go. Cypher being the first victim, and possibly many more to come.
And Cypher also in a tough spot. With Moxie being a little bit of a solo here for a few seconds. If she can buy the time, they will. And you hear that sound. Reboots are going to be disabled from here on out. If you go down, you are forced to watch the rest of the game play out.
Every player for themselves, and absolutely nobody is safe. Shockwave or crash pad, whatever direction you want to head. But you've got to keep your head on a swivel, otherwise you might lose it. As Veno so nicely showcased, but Veno and Reddish, they've still got their work cut out for them. They know there's a lot of neighbors that they don't necessarily want to be knocking on the doors of just yet. You're trying to draw as little of attention as possible.
Ooh, Ollie, I did see him kind of get targeted by a few players, dropped to a low HP. Peterbot's the one that's actually cleaning up the elimination. Points go to Booga, loot goes to Peterbot. And that's where you're seeing a whole lot of importance as Moxie. We literally saw her go down. Now we're seeing what happens when you get rebooted a little too late, and now she is out of there.
But look at Nick and Queasy. They're already trying to commandeer high. Peterbot and Aussie, they're just going to clear out their own dead side rotate. Pete, always happy to get involved with a little bit of box-to-box fighting. And if they're not careful, though, High Ground might actually take notice of what's going on. Mongrel, barely lucky to still be alive right now. That's a rare miss from Peterbot.
And he's feeling the pressure here because this is a duo competition. But for the rest of this game, Mongrel's going to have to play it out as a solo. And I think Peterbot sees the weakness. He's getting the green light, but shots come in. They spray the cover. Really forced them to kind of rethink that strategy there for that quick moment. And that's saving Mongrel. He doesn't even know how he just got blessed, but on a High Ground. You know him, you love him. It's Queasy, it's Nick F30, and hopefully this time around they can hold on to their High Ground.
The zone pulling over this hillside has just completely set Queasy and Nick in an optimal position, but you always have to be careful because High Ground can be challenged at any given moment, and Queasy is fully aware of that factor. He's already caught a glimpse of Shota and Koyota on that secondary height, but teams are on the move. They're trying to control that front side low, and Podesai, Nikov, waiting for the perfect moment to strike.
Yeah, he has to let that legendary Slurp Juice get his HP and shield back up, because if he were to go now, one Mammoth Pistol will definitely do him in. But now the crash pad's going out. They're just simply trying to make their way to the front side of the gun. Clicks and Lacey, same thing as Cold finds himself with another elimination. That's one each for Courage and Cold. He promised one banana means one elimination, and he kept that promise right here.
Oh, that potassium helping counteract those back cramps. Courage, he's coming alive. Somebody throw out the time machine for this man. But Nick Queasy still up on the high ground, still trying to prevent anybody in these lower layers. And Reddish Venom caught up in a little bit more of the mix-up than what they were hoping for. But it's Vaxity who's on the back heel. Vaxity gonna be forced to the shockwave away. Cold though, he just lost courage, but it doesn't matter because Kuyana is down for the count.
It's a different level of flexibility when you're playing as a solo. No, you now have to be careful anymore as Ozzy gets caught out as well. Cold just taking names and checking them off that list one at a time, but there's no siphon. He needs the HP, and he found Peter Bot's Chug Jug.
That's all that Cold needed. He just wanted all of the material, all of the opportunities that Ozzy was able to provide off that body loop. But Nick, Queasy, they're still intact. They're still fully in control of this high ground. Clicks and Lacey might be hoping to try and counteract this, but from the secondary height position, they still got to deal with these teams on low. Queasy and Nick, they're not letting up either. Alex doing what he can to fend for himself in the backside, but Nikov, Photoside, immediately shockwaving towards the front side low. They're waiting. They're hoping that somebody is going to run into one of their pre-edits.
There are 15 teams still alive. Placement points have not touched this lobby just yet. It's all eliminations all the way as Cold is looking for another one. Savage, weak as can be on the other side. Lachlan's there as well. Shockwave from Kanata causing a little bit of destruction and confusion as Cold is simply on the hunt. An opportunity there, but he misses out. But Zemi's going to steal that one away as Peterbot is struggling to get out of the box, but they send him back to the lobby anyway.
And Queasy, the lone man on height, he's going to try and just make sure that he's got it as long as possible. Clicks and Lacey, though, all the way in the bottom field. They are making sure that nobody can challenge their current position. Clicks creating so much space. Lacey, all that bot reviewing from last night, buddy. It's kicking in now. Queasy going to be dropped down into the heart of the action, and now Clicks, Lacey, he might actually do this.
He finds his former teammate, Veno, the 6 out of 12, as he lands another shot, but he gets Shockwave out of zone, quickly uses his, finds his way back, 0 builds left, but on the high ground, it's his EU competition. He goes for a play, but gets set right back down. Nikov, Podoside, 4 eliminations, they're in control.
And they absolutely blocked off Queasy's attempt to actually catapult himself back up the high ground. Clicks, Lacey, they're just too tangled up. It's only going to be Clicks that manages to finagle his way out of here, but he's going to shockwave up. He sees Podoside, but he's a target, but Podoside's been sent packing. It's only Nikov, the other half of the Gentlemates, to keep this one alive.
There's one duo left in this game, and it's Cooper and Zemi. Everybody else is solos as Queasy's trying to go for the heal off. The Chug Jug, backside of the zone. He barely gets it off in time, but Cooper and Zemi, they have the Chug Cannon. Infinite heals as long as they have the time. Queasy drops down from above, but it's only a short stint. He doesn't want to go ahead and stay there for too long as Nikov goes down. 2v1 situation. If anybody can do it, it has to be Queasy.
But Queasy's just outnumbered. Cooper and Zemi are gonna strike first. Victory Royale. And this is the moment they want to keep that momentum building.
They won the last game of the practice games yesterday. They held on to that momentum. They held on to that confidence, and they fired off here in game 1. Let's go and see how they're feeling with Frankie.
All right, guys. Congratulations. Gale and Santa, give it up for your Victory Royale winners. Cooper, you knew that he had it in him. He's been practicing for this moment, but did you think straight out the gate you'd be picking up the first Victory Royale?
100%. I mean, we're going to win this whole thing. I'm the best teammate here. I'm feeling super confident. IGLing feels good. I'm feeling great.
All eyes were on Queasy and the high ground, but you guys were just staking things out on the low ground. Talk me through that end game.
Yeah, I mean, end game, we looked at high ground. We saw they're very established. Cooper called it to go low ground. I was on him the whole time. He was calling it, and I was just trying to get kills, give him everything he needs, and it worked out.
It really did work out. Do you think you need to change things up now to keep people guessing in the lobby?
No, I mean, we might change things. We might not. I don't know, but all I know is we're gonna win more.
Well, all eyes are gonna be on you. Cooper, after game 1, we've got the eye test now. Who do you think is the biggest competition here?
I mean, I don't got any competition here, honestly. I think we're miles ahead of everyone. We just stay consistent, stay confident. No one's beating me here.
All right then, guys, please give it up one more time. Cooper and Zemi! What a way to kick things off here in Los Angeles. We'll be right back after this break.
Welcome back, everyone, to the 2025 FNCS Pro-Am. Oh my gosh. Game number 1 was crazy. So many developments all happening in that single chaotic moment of a game. And at the end of it all, Cooper and Zemi come out as Game 1 winners?
Yeah, I mean, again, that wasn't too much of a surprise, right? Everyone had Cooper and Zemi winning the whole thing, and it looks like Cooper and Zemi are feeling the same way as well. Going on the low ground aggression definitely is working out for this duo right here. But what I love from it is Cooper. This Major 2 that we just had was one of the first times that he really tried IGLing, and honestly, he's done such a good job with it, and I love to see him bring that into this competition as well.
I mean, Cooper was telling us, he said, let's drop low ground. That's what he was telling Zemi. Zemi's like, should we go for high? Should we contest it? No, they wanted to play by the books, go low ground, get those extra eliminations, and it ended up at a 2v1. Quick cleanup, got the dub.
I love, too, that, you know, obviously Zemi is saying, like, hey, it's all Coop, and I'm listening to him, but we just watched Zemi go crazy, right? The mark of a good duo is, like, if your IGL kind of says, hey, this is what we kind of need to do, he's immediately there to just make sure everything is happening the way it needs to, and they're sitting there in that #1 spot right now after just game #1. Dude, Zemi, what I love about him, even if he's like asking questions like, hey, what should we be doing? What you don't have to question is his aiming. Wherever they are, whatever layer, if there's a 1v1 that's taking place, Zemi's not missing.
Whew, man, that is a way to start a competition, Takata. And honestly, I think a lot of eyes are going to be on this duo. I don't know necessarily if Peterbot and Aussie Antics are necessarily happy with the performance that we saw right there. Currently sitting in 7th place. And if there's one thing I know about Peterbot is that when he thinks that there's a player that's doing better than him, he tends to target that player.
Oh yeah, and you could see from the early game onto Mr. Savage how focused he was on getting that elimination. But also shout out Aussie Antics. The amount of eliminations he was picking up, he was looking like one of the pros himself.
Yeah, look at this, the same amount of eliminations as Peterbot. I don't think anyone expected that, but with the amount of practice that Aussie has been putting in, and you can even hear it from Peterbot, the fact that he complimented Aussie Antics just shows how much effort he's been putting into this competition.
Absolutely. Of course, I want to highlight here as well Nikov and Podesai. Guys, for a moment, I thought, wait a minute, they're going up. The Gentlemates are on height. This is it. And it looked really, really good. Obviously, Clicks played spoiler to that. We'll get to that in a second. But to see them on that high ground, especially in those late moments of the zone, guys, this feels like an FNCS. Now, really quickly, we have a listen in here with Peterbot. So let's take a look.
Kept thinking, like...
I remember land under.
Yep.
Yeah, we won a game on land. You're the first OSD player to win a land game.
Let's go, bro. I'm talking about winning the whole thing as well, man.
Yep. Now we're winning the whole thing. Come on.
Got him.
Nice. Good job,
steady. We're steady.
Bro.
Yo, got a pro on the board, baby. 30, 13 white, 60 white, 80 white. Dead, dead, dead.
Nice,
nice.
bro.
Let's go, baby.
I blanked her.
Dude, 2-2, man. Come on. Kill checked by me. Come on, man. You got to be at least triple my kills.
I love that. Something we actually, when we had a chance to talk with Ozzy, one thing he said was like, hey, listen, so on land, OC has not gotten a victory royale or a win. So we said, wait a minute, hold on. So you're saying if you got a victory royale and won, I mean, OCE is on the map then. That's right. Lachlan walked out with that piece of paper. That would be crazy.
Yeah, that would be pretty crazy, especially with it being Aussie Antics, because we do have a few OC pros here as well. So to have it be the content creator, the face of content creation for Fortnite, that'd be pretty special. But if we're talking about special, we got to talk about Cold and Courage JD.
Look, Jacob mentioned it. Courage said, every banana I'm going to eat, I'm going to turn that into an elimination. And he was not wrong. You can see the shots he's hitting here. You can see the practice that he's put in. There was a funny note. He's played more tournaments in the last week than he had from 2020 to now. And that work is really paying off.
This game, though, was all about Cold. His solo clutch that we saw exactly right here, where he was staying in the back of zone, kind of staying on this like low to kind of second low ground, which is allowing him to grab all these eliminations from all the players that are focusing forward, going for those elims themselves. Honestly, Cold is punishing the rest of the lobby for playing well, and that is what separates these first tier and second tier players, is being able to kind of understand where you're at a deficit and then use that to your advantage.
I'm loving it. I'm loving it. All they got to do now is maintain that consistency. Good amount of eliminations, get yourself to the late game, and just keep on going.
I want to keep on going to more games. Let's jump back on that battle bus for game number 2.
Match 1 has already delivered, and from what we're witnessing this far, Jacob, all of these players are so ready to kind of stamp their own place inside that leaderboard.
Yeah, with how wild game 1 was so far, I can only expect it to kind of double, triple in games 4 and 5 at the end of the day, because we saw 16 teams alive before placement points went in. But let's get into game number 2, because we want action.
Look, any game 1 jitters that might have existed, it's got to go out the window. Everybody just needs to absolutely lock in, because it doesn't matter if you're a pro, it doesn't matter if you're a creator. Everybody has equal opportunity to find those eliminations with the way that things are getting so chaotic in these endgames.
Sometimes you just got to start to take a little bit more control over your own destiny, whether that's getting eliminations, pushing up for more positioning, because we saw it. Zone 5, that's when a lot of the teams started position, but Peterbot finds himself at Dirty Dots. Ozzy finds himself down. They probably spotted him out, but Booga and Typical Gamer as a solo. Peterbot thought he was going to be safe to get rebooted if he went down, but Ozzy going down changes things up completely, because guess where he just got rebooted?
Cooper, Zemi, Flakes, they're all looking up at the sky. Ozzy doing everything he can to try and duck it out, but he's gonna get knocked one more time. Somebody's sure to clean him up. That'll be gone, but Alex and Loser Fruit, they recognize, hey, if there's gonna be somebody getting eliminated this early on, we wanna make sure that we could possibly get involved, and everyone's starting to creep up now into this Dirty Docks area.
Even had Faxity and Reason going on over there as Seti and Daya with 2 eliminations. 19 teams left in the game, which means they sent one of them packing early here for game number 2. And that's got to start to boost the confidence right there for Seti and Daya, because now they got position on one of the high hills here on the map, and they can kind of just play it by ear.
Aussie is so used to watching the pros be victims, but now he's on the receiving end. He just cannot touch the ground. Everybody just aiming up, trying to prevent him from getting any sense of survivability. And Peterbot, he's gonna completely scatter. He's trying to make as much space as possible so that his duo could actually try and be a contender here in Lobby 2.
I kind of know what this feels like right now. Getting put in the blender, you're getting put into a smoothie right now. But they figured it out. Peterbot was able to create enough distance so when Ozzy got rebooted yet again, they're more closer towards Slurpy Swamp. But you got to remember, it was Booga and Typical Gamer that got those early eliminations onto Ozzy, and they already moved into that POI.
Ooh, Alex getting mixed up here with Nate Hill, but Nate Hill, that's going to be a fast elimination. Regs now just looking to pull back. She needs to disengage. Defense is the best offense at times, and Regs knows Alex not trying to let up the pressure anytime soon. With Nate dropping back into the lobby, if he's not careful, he could get eliminated one more time. Alex nearly picking off Nate on the landing, and he'll get the job done, finish what he started. And Nate just gonna have to sit and hope that Regs is gonna be able to play a little bit more defense for him so he can actually touch down.
And these were the fears. These were the fears. Talking to Alex, even Kanata, that you can't split and play that way because it's like a beacon. You're like a flare in the ocean. They know exactly where you're respawning at. And now Alex has found the actual player keeping the whole thing alive with all the loot, which is Regs, getting pressured in by Loser Flute on one side, Alex playing box to box on the other. The top was already taken, and now he's moving in to try to clean up this elimination onto Regs, and he does so with ease. The numbers game is just too much.
But with how close we are to Boom and Maze, that might actually draw the attention of the Gentlemates, Nikov and Podicide. They're starting to kind of poke their heads on over. They've got a good idea that maybe there's a survivor trying to scramble into their area. Peterbot and Aussie, though, they left Slurpy Swamp wide open, and other teams have tried to move in, but Mongrel doesn't stand a chance. Peterbot letting him know what's good for what feels like the millionth time since yesterday's games. And Peterbot, 2 eliminations already. He is just reminding everybody why you do not challenge him.
I feel like that's a symbol of Fortnite. Out with the old Mongrel, in with the new Peterbot. Because Peterbot's got to be like the new toy right there. 5 FNCSs. He sees Mongrel once again. A little bit of missed opportunities there from Peterbot. Something that you don't see very often, but at least it lets us know that he is human.
But it's just crazy to think about the fact that Aussie and Peterbot could land at Dirty Docks, and yet no other duo was able to take full advantage of moving into an optimal position at Slurpy Swamp to even try and cut them off. Sure, you've got Buga and Typical Gamer a little ways ahead of them, but even that is a fight that Peterbot is more than open to taking on headfirst.
Yeah, confidence at an all-time high here. And we saw this elimination on the Mongo. We let him know what's up right afterwards. Ozzy just kind of playing that safe game. Something that Ozzy's just playing his role pretty well, and he's not just getting that big head, that ego, and being invited to a competition like this. He said, hey, I'm just going to do what I need to do for my teammate, and we'll see what happens.
Koyota and Captain Shota, though, they're just going to keep things moving. They don't want to get stuck between multiple teams. They're trying to prioritize just making it into that initial edge of zone. But Koyota is such a prominent fragger. Everybody knows what he is capable of. And I think that's why they're just going to look to hedge their bets on taking this fight with Allier and Mongrel. Allier a little bit too split from his duo. He doesn't stand a chance. Koyota, just a menace to be reckoned with. That'll be his first elimination. And I'm sure that he's bound to continue looking up into the sky for more.
So some of those things you don't see coming with the crash pads and the shockwaves. You think you're safe, but no team is nearby. And a blink of an eye, Allier gets jumped on, put back on respawn, and that's the same pain Mongrel's been feeling. So for this game number 2, Allier and Mongrel have been having such a tough time as Koyota farms another elimination onto Allier. Even if they're not getting the siphon mats, the minis that comes with getting the elimination, it's the points that really matter.
We all knew that follow-up was inevitable from Koyota and Shota, but even more importantly still, we've got a little bit of a listen in with a couple of our fan favorites, Peterbot and Aussie.
Wait, Mongrel.
On you? Yeah, yep.
Yeah. I'm gonna go kill Allier.
Yeah, yep, nice.
Left
Yeah,
yard.
yep, I'm just getting the slurp trap and then I'll help you, okay? Nice, bro.
Right, farm out of
Good
here.
stuff,
Follow
good stuff.
Mongrel.
Yep, yeah. Nice, very good stuff, mate.
So now we know what the starting point was like between those two teams. Peterbot just calls the target, Aussie, all too ready to follow up.
If they were just a couple of seconds sooner on getting that elimination onto Mongrel, that would have been another team down and out of the game, but their strategy is not working so well because it's actually Zemi who steals away the elimination, Alex getting all of that loot. As they're trying to base up over here just south of Boomin Base. You see a couple of teams outside of the zone, a couple more inside of the zone, and you're seeing it's Podesai and Nikov, the ones that actually land off in this position, that are trying to take most use of it.
But we just saw Alex with 6 eliminations, 6 points already, Jacob, and yet there's only been one duo fully eliminated from this lobby.
Seeing the struggles that happen if you go down too early. And this is where I start to talk about a little bit of that danger zone, 5th zone, going into 6. You're still able to reboot, but where are you gonna go? You go too deep into the zone, you could get chunked out even with the barrels. It's Cammy, Jacob, trying to play it very, very carefully. They know the whole western side of that zone is going to open up. They know it's relatively low damage, so they're gonna hedge their bets in that direction.
But with all that early commotion at Dirty Docks, glad to see Faxity and Reason are still kicking in this one. They're looking like they might be able to get a nice flank opportunity onto a couple of our teams that are pushed a little bit further inside this edge of zone. But Fax and Reason, big brother, trying to be careful, doesn't want to overstep his welcome.
You know, when Faxity got in last second, I might have been one of the happiest people being able to watch him play, being able to check out his streams. He is so entertaining, and he's good. He's good. He just needs to get more reps in a competition. You know, you saw that stat. He's placed top 10 in at least 10 of them. He just hasn't been able to pull off that big win. But hey, if he's able to pull off a win here at the FNCS Pro-Am, that's the only one that matters.
His only option is to pull off a Victory Royale here, Jacob. He said he was getting at least one for the broadcast today, at least one for the fans back home, and he's got to get at least one for Amar. I mean, show the man some love. Everything happens for a reason, though, and we'll have to check back in with Faxity to see what's taking place. Cooper, Zemi, wanting to get a little bit aggressive onto Daya and Seti. They're going to have to sit and wait.
Seen at least 3 teams over towards Slurpy. One of them is going to get jumped on by Peterbot. That's Jacob who does go down. It's actually Ozzy who gets the elimination. 3rd one of the game, and they get that legendary Slurp juice. It's going to heal up that shield and HP over time if they need it, which they might because the zone is pulling all the way towards the north. I'm not sure who that second team is just outside of Slurpy Swamp with them. It's going to be Flakes and Gone. They need to be careful because Peterbot and Ozzy are warming up and getting more and more dangerous as time goes on.
Oh, but Cammy, he's running out of mobility options and he is being chased out. Jacob already looking grim as far as his HP can take him though. And he'll buy a little bit more time here, but Gone and Flakes, they're not looking to let things settle. The rest of the lobby also taking notice of this team that's under duress, and Jacob will be forced to duck underneath that bridge, try to reunite with Cammy. Gone and Flakes gonna tarp their way through. They've got enough hard mats to make it happen, but you don't want to burn all of your material too early on.
Yep, it's Flakes and Gone, but let's go ahead and take a listen in for Thomas, HD, and Somerset and how they're playing through this endgame.
1.5, 55. I think we're just gonna have to be a little aggressive.
Wait, there's a guy at least. That was the guy from before.
Yeah, there's a team buff.
I like that. I like that. Everybody knows Thomas HD, probably the IGL from the team, but Somerset just letting her opinion be known. We might have to play a little bit aggressive, giving up that information. And if I'm Thomas HD and my teammate says, look, we got to start getting aggressive to close the gap, I would be with it, especially if I got a Mammoth.
Thomas was just so nonchalant about that elimination too. It's like he had no other expectations but for it to go his way as Alex finds yet another knock, potentially having been stolen away from him though. But no, it is credited. Nate Hill will one more time be added to the tally count here for Alex and Loserfruit. Oceano showing up big right now, and Loserfruit herself, she said it, all I want is to place higher than Locky. And with the way that Alex is firing off on all cylinders right now, he might be able to make it happen.
A power grudge match, and honestly, Alex with those 7 eliminations as that one gets taken away by Cold and possibly Faxity as well. I think this might be the most eliminations we've actually been able to see. I know it's only been 1.5 games so far, but with reboots turned off, that's where the pressure is really going to be felt. Nate Hill, Regs separated a little bit too far for their own liking, especially since they're both going to feel a little bit of that max pull. Regs is going to go down to Thomas HD. One more elimination point for them, and now that leaves Nate Hill by himself.
Cold's bound to have spotted out that body loot, though, that Regs just popped off directly underneath their current position. Courage, a little bit pressed here for the loadout, but he's at least got 150 in that chug jug. They can still work with this. They would definitely like a refresh because every elimination point, we're gonna need to see some of these teams start going big like other individuals already have.
Yeah, this might be one of them. You see, he does have that exotic SMG. Every time he reloads, he does get that 0-point dash effect a little bit. Doesn't last a long time, but hey, in an endgame this chaotic, it's the little difference makers that really count. As Jacob and Cam are just trying to go ahead and cement their position. They know it's not a far rotation to zone, but how dangerous this lobby is. They blink and things could turn sideways. Instead of going through, Moxie, Cypher going up and over, and Sable, Ronaldo, Kanata are trying to get denied entry.
Everybody just preventing Ronaldo and Kanata from moving even 1 inch closer. They're going to be forced to actually pull back, try and drop as much wall coverage as possible, but it's Peterbot and Aussie that are refusing to let Kanata and Ronaldo get any closer. They want full control of this low ground position, and they've got it. They've made Kanata and Ronaldo use so much of their builds. Ronaldo doesn't really have a whole lot left to work with. They're gonna need to find an elimination for a refresh.
Yep, and this is a good opportunity here. Of course, they want a shockwave to the front, but at least they're able to get a little bit of point of view where their competition is at. As soon as they make their way there, box up, let a lot of the zone start to open up. But 2 of 2 games so far. Queasy and Nick at 30 going for that early high ground, 8th zone. There's still a couple more, so hopefully it works out this time.
But it's the Queasy Classic. Get high, don't die. He said Nick was moving earlier while they were doing their warm-ups this morning. And Nick, he knows sole responsibility. Just apply pressure to whatever angle that Queasy doesn't have full tabs on. They just want to prevent anybody from moving up with them.
Got to be careful for those shockwaves. Any team down below could shockwave up. try to hit a little bit of surprise attack. Ozzy went down not too long ago, which leaves Peterbot by himself. And I said the same thing about Cold. It's a different feeling when you're Peterbot as a solo. He doesn't have to play to help Ozzy. He doesn't have to play to help a duo. He can just play as a solo without a worry, but it comes crashing down for Nick at 30 as Gon and Flakes look up and send them packing.
And Queasy, he doesn't have any mobility. He's going to be forced to actually commit to those lower layers unless he can find a refresh. But the punishment is steep. Peterbot catches Flake completely off guard. Gon now going to be forced to work as a solo from this current zone. And Gon, he's got the high ground. He's trying to stop Thomas in his tracks. But Gon, how much longer can you realistically buy time with this loadout?
Peterbot behind him does have that shockwave. He can make his presence known in the blink of an eye, so Gon has to be careful. A lot of our solos just trying to look bigger than they actually are. Clicks is even going for the high ground. Peterbot finds his way in. The legendary slurp juice that he got from Ozzy paying off big.
Anybody else, you wouldn't even bat an eye, but for Peterbot, he's used to working in this kind of operation. The solo scenario is what he can actually pop off in best, but Lacey, Clicks, they're a duo compadre unit. They don't have to worry about anybody else because they're taking advantage, just spraying all these teams to the low ground.
They have the chug jug, they have the slurp. Down below, Peterbot is trying to hold on to his position, spraying to the backside of the zone. That's Faxity that's feeling a little bit of pressure as they get shockwave up and off. Clicks, Lacey do not have high ground anymore. In fact, they're going up against Sneak off for it. First down, going to be cleaned up. Clicks is firing on all cylinders.
And Clicks better because that shockwave sent Lacey in the wrong direction, but it doesn't matter. Clicks, he finds Alex. That's a huge shutdown to Loser Fruit's team. And even with Clicks losing Lacey, he looks like he's got things fully under control in the high ground.
He has to be careful though. He has no real way down in terms of safety. No shockwaves, no crash pads, but he's making sure nobody can look up, so it will not be a worry, especially with the zone floating on over to the side of that mountain. Another solo is going to be Peterbot, and he's running out of his chug jug, and he's running out fast.
That zone was looking awfully devious, but the way that it's pulling back over this elevation is actually going to be a huge benefit to Clicks. He's got these pre-existing builds. All he has to do is keep the pressure at an all-time high. Peterbot might be forced to drop here in a moment, though, but who's he going to drop into? Could it be Cooper? Could it be Kanata? No, instead, layer transition back towards that secondary height. Venom sent to the abyss off that shockwave, and Daya, she'll meet her end, though.
Now, every single person left alive in this game is a solo in this competition, and Seti's just trying to work his way through. All he has is the bare minimum, the siphon match, but if you look up, no, that's not an angel, that's Clicks, and he has more legendary slurp juices that he knows what to do with. This is a Clicks game.
Kanata, he's reliving the practice moments currently. He doesn't have any heals this time, though, and Seti, don't know if he's in the same kind of position, but look at Clicks, an absolute menace in the high ground, just causing so much mayhem for the two down below. Seti finds Kanata. Now it's all up to Clicks. Clicks trying to make sure he just doesn't get chopped out. Seti, he's got a way to make his way towards the high ground. Clicks can't afford a drop. He has to use all of his builds. He still has a couple of slurp juices remaining. He's gonna look for Seti. He wants the finishing shot. He doesn't need the heal up, but he might just look to play it safe anyway.
Siphon mats are so important. That changes the game completely from the situation we're in. Double slurp juice pop. He sends Seti flying outside of the zone, but back he goes, and back he does it. Clicks and Lacey win game number 2.
They said they were up all night, and it doesn't matter what anybody else might make of it because they came prepared here today. The performance is peaking, Jacob. A victory royale in game 2, and Frankie, even more to say.
If there's anything we learned from that last game, it's that America's sweetheart never plays it safe. Clicks, the two of you take the high ground. Lacey goes down. What's your reaction?
I might have shockwave Lacey into zone, and I knew that would have been a big sell, but it doesn't matter because I won it, so it's all good.
Is that why he sent you into the zone? Because he wanted to do it as a solo, Lacey?
He sent me into the zone, but I trusted him the whole way. I never had a doubt. He was winning that.
And while he is winning it, are you talking to him or are you like, I gotta stay silent, let him do his thing?
I was just giving him simple comms, mats, refreshes, pop his slurp before he goes down to fights, and letting him play.
And you are loving those shockwaves because we saw that Seti got shockwaved into the zone in those final moments. In a way, it kind of won you the game. Is this your favorite item right now in Reload?
Honestly, my favorite item is a spaz. They need to bring the spaz back.
Well, I know that a lot of people from Epic Games are watching, so they might take on your suggestion. but how satisfying was that solo moment? How did you keep track of everything from the high ground?
Honestly, I just kept on building up and up where shockwaves can't get to that height limit. So you basically have no threat. You just keep on playing your game and spraying.
Now, there's an interesting situation that happened at the start of that game, which was that Peterbot and Aussie Antics, they dropped on our leaders from the first game, Cooper and Zemi. Are you worried they're going to be coming your way?
The thing is, me and Peter got a good alliance going on. So honestly, keep on dropping on Cooper and Zemi.
Excuse me, we want a fair fight. Hopefully we're gonna have one. Before we head to the break though, please, Galen Center, show your appreciation for Clix and Lacey. We'll be right back.
Fortnite fam, I must be dreaming. Clix, Lacey, Victory Royale, game number 2 in the craziest 1v1 I feel like I've seen in so long. Clix holding height for so much of that end game and then utilizing those shockwaves to just disrupt SETI, just saying, hey, I know you think you know what up, down, left, right is. Well, this shockwave is about to send shockwaves through your mind.
How did he have so many, right? Throwback to when Frankie was talking to them. He's like, Yeah, Clix might have shockwaved me into Storm, right? How do you have enough to go ahead and do that to your teammate, launch yourself up like 7 times? As you can see, Clix is very, very comfortable in this meta. This is why I was talking about the fact that a lot of the reload items, they're callbacks to previous competitions way back years ago. Clix has been a player that's been playing for a very long time, instantly comfortable with all of the items that are going to be in this competition, which is why, of course, he was like, listen, those purple pumps, please bring them back.
Yeah, Clix really set our expectations quite high for the rest of the competition. And, you know, like you were saying, he was doing such a good job on the solo high ground and getting an elimination onto Podesai and then getting an elimination onto Alex. By being a solo player, that's when we typically see these pros kind of tend to take a step back, slow down a little bit. But Clix was the exact opposite. He just kind of put his foot on the gas pedal there and just kept going. And obviously, it came down to him and Seti in the final 1v1 Vivid. And it got kind of close.
Yeah, it did get kind of close. Seti is like, please stop throwing shockwaves at me. He's like, how do you have so many, right? Like I was mentioning, Clix just kept going up and up and up. Not to mention, Clix, when he dropped all the way down to the low ground and initially lost the high ground, he had no mats. He had nothing to work with. For some reason, there's like a pool of loot down there, a little llama for him to go ahead and help him clutch that game up.
I love to see it. I also love to see Lacey running around the arena right now, getting everyone really hyped up. That's what you want to see. If you do go down, and if even your own teammate goes down, you got to keep your mental straight.
I mean, when we saw that moment, we saw Clix get up, get excited. Yeah. We have that listen in. Let's hear from what this game happened and how it all went down.
Come on, looking, come on, looking, come on, looking. I'm spinning you mats, and I'm gonna go down on walls, okay? I'm connecting. Wait, I'm shocking, sorry. Don't, no. Shocked me, bro. I know, I said I'm shockwaving. You're good. 100. Dead. I'm going on height again, I'm going on height. 200. Kill 3 on height. I don't make it, I don't make 4 shocks. 5 shocks, I have 3 mats. Let's go! Let's go!
To be fair, Zeke, Clix did come that he was shockwaving.
You know, we all know how chaotic Fortnite games can get. Technically, he did comment. We'll just let it slide, because you know what? He got a victory royale. So at the end of the day, it's all good. And now they're currently holding that #1 spot, 27 points. It is looking so good, but look right behind them, right? Cooper and Zemi, they're still holding strong as well.
Whoa, 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 but right behind them, tied up 24 points there. I see Seti and Daya sneaking into 3rd place right there. You know, I was swore that team was going to be good on paper. But yeah, Cooper and Zemi, again, instantly getting contested towards the top of the leaderboard right there. That just shows how close these Fortnite competitions really are.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about it after game #1, that once Peterbot gets eliminated by someone, once he gets down, he wants to go for that 1st place player. He wants to prove himself. And unfortunately, if you're going up against Cooper, it might be a little bit risky. And obviously, Aussie Antics being left alone there definitely spelled a little bit of a disaster. So I don't know if we're necessarily going to be seeing that strat again out of them. But Cooper, Zemi, 2 strong games in a row, Vivid.
Yeah, I mean, super, super strong with them. Like you were mentioning, Kelly, the early contestation over at the Dirty Docks, things already getting spicy over there. Peterbot and Aussie landing over that way. I was like, whoa, 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 what happened? How is Booga taking out Aussie and this and that happening? Everything's going crazy already.
Yeah, you know, and still game 2. Zeke, we have so much more. There might be a possibility that we see Peterbot pull out the teeny strat and just land in a new spot every single game.
I would love that. And the only other thing I want to see out of these games that I've seen too much of is my boy Ali getting bullied, okay? Leave Ali alone. Let him play his game for once. But man, Nika, Podesai as well, going sicko mode in these games. Reload is just so much fun. I'm loving this like extra layer of just chaos, right? Again, you just never, like as you're swapping perspectives, you never know what a player's gonna have. Sometimes it's a loadout where you're seeing, oh, shotgun, AR. Sometimes you've got shocks. Sometimes you've got some crazy mythic or exotic.
You know, you mentioned layer, and I really like the layer that they're playing here. They're kind of going for the 2nd high ground, and you can see even in those clips right there that they're paying attention to high ground. They're peeking behind. They're going for those chops because they understand that although eliminations are great on low ground, there's just so many question marks on if a player just pops them behind you and gets an elim, but high ground is a little less contested.
Guys, I want more action. Let's get back up on that battle bus. Taco, Jacob PR, over to you.
Games. We want more games. And I'm honestly keeping my ear to the street. The whole Fortnite community is saying this is fun. This is what it's all about, and I can agree.
That leaderboard was looking crazy, though. Seti and Daya, you cannot sleep on their performance so far today. And Jacob, we're about to hit the halfway point. Because game 3 is ready to ride.
This is it, like you're saying, the halfway point, and you saw that leaderboard. And it's not necessarily going the way that I thought. It's not elimination heavy. It's been consistency in the placements and making these top 5s, making these top 3s. So this is what it's really all about. Maybe you could close the gap in the last half of the day, but who knows?
One thing's for sure, though, Faxity and Reason playing that third-party contest, that Dirty Dots, has made it very difficult for Flakes and Gone to find that level of consistency in comparison to Zemi and Cooper. They've just been silently sliding through those end games. We saw their game 1 pop off too, and other teams, they're gonna have to step it up or they'll fall behind.
Yeah, it's really important here because this is a good pacing game, seeing where you're at versus the rest of the pack. It's almost like testing your strategy. Is it working? But Benno just keeping his eyes peeled, sees Lacey land a little short. There goes half of the HP. And I don't think Benno's gonna go on this great chase. It's a little bit too risky, especially since he doesn't even necessarily know where Clix himself has landed, so he doesn't want to get taken down a little early.
I think if Benno had a shockwave there, he would have gone for it. He would have full sent it, but no mobility means you're gonna have to come to a halt. Alex on the other end, he's got Cypher PK in his sights, and Cypher, shockwave to safety just in the nick of time. He'll be able to reunite with Moxie, and she'll play that supportive measure, that backup unit. And that's gonna stop Alex in his tracks. He can't continue to press that issue.
You know, watching the Milk Cup, Moxie was trying to make a last game run in that final game of the day. I think they had like 15 plus elimination before they eventually went down and were cut short. But that's the type of confidence I do want to see from these teams. Take control of your own game. Get aggressive when you can, especially if Alex and Loser Fruit are landing on you and trying to take the fight and catch you off guard.
Scenes at Fort Crumpet, though, is just Queasy trying to take advantage of Seti and Naya spotted off on the bridge a little bit further north. And Queasy, he's always got a very familiar strategy, Jacob. Doesn't matter if it's FNCS, Major Finals, or if it's the Pro-Am. Queasy's gonna be looking for height every single time.
And so far about the 8th zone and first 2 games, we have seen them kind of lead the pack in terms of consistently being up there on that high ground. It's just closing it out has been the struggles. Whether it's somebody shock-waving you off of the high ground or you doing it yourself, they need to figure out how to close out those mistakes and kind of minimize how many they're making. It's Koyota, Captain Shota, Logjam Lodging. They're just kind of looting up slowly. There is one player towards their south that they might have to be careful for, but this is a team that is coming in as a little bit of an underdog, so to say. Nobody really expects much from them, even though Coyote is always breaking the mold and showing us new tricks in competitions just like this.
Oh, you can't say nobody, because Captain Shota, if you got a chance to talk to that guy like I did, he was just calling out, we are going to be winning. It's going to take a little bit of a pop-off now to play catch-up, but Alex stopped mid-air by Nate Hill. You want to go for a blue battle? Nate Hill coming out on top of that exchange. Loser Fruit, all she wants to do now is just wait that full 10 seconds. She's just hoping that Alex is able to actually touch ground, though.
Oh, my. I was saying Nate Hill got a good upgrade because he didn't have a shotgun before, but now Regs has the mythic mini gun in reload. That is going to shred if they can keep it towards the end game. Fresh off the respawn, it's Loser Fruit this time around, though, versus Nate Hill. This is a good amount of loot if they're able to take down Loser Fruit, but I hear the crash pad, and there is so much distance being made by Loser Fruit with that heads-up play.
But Nate, he's got to be real careful. You don't want to get over-ambitious. You don't want to draw too much attention. Alex hiding, waiting to see if he can get an angle and opening any kind of way to find this knock of revenge onto Nate Hill. But Nate immediately causing that elimination take place onto Loser Fruit now means that Alex will be forced to just continue hiding.
He gets a little bit of the zone. It's just unfortunate where Nate Hill and Regs are currently positioned at. He can't really rotate to either the left or that right side. So he literally has to wait until they disengage off that position before he can do anything. deep into Dirty Dogs. Faxity, Reason, a late entrant not only to a competition like this, but a late contest on this side of the map, and it looks like they're leading the fight. Reason does have the breacher, so he can break through these builds relatively easy, but they're shock waving to try to find safety, and Reason is going in onto Gon. They realize this is a 2v1. It's now or never, but a big shot from Gon is going to slow things down.
And Flakes, he's got to come play a little bit of supportive measure. He knows that Gon just got a huge crack onto Reason's shield, but Faxity, Reason, now split angle approach. Gon gonna crank all the way to the high ground, just crash pad to safety. He does have a chug jug, and with Flakes nearby, Flakes is gonna be the one to actually cut off that line of sight there for Reason and Faxity. But this fight at Dirty Docks, it's inevitable, Jacob, because there's only one way to actually make it towards the edge of zone. Faxity and Reason, we're going to have to approach one of the two other teams landing in that POI, and it just happens to be the Brazilians every time.
Yeah, and it's just now turning unfortunate for both of them instead of just Faxity and Reason. The zone is pulling further and further to the east, so there's so many more teams that they're going to have to find a way to make their way through, including Peterbot and Ozzy, who just got their first elimination.
And onto Fuga, nonetheless. Peterbot, just so dastardly. The moment that he sees anybody, he's so down to just key them immediately. That's brimming with confidence.
I think first place was about 27 points. That was Clicks and Lacey. Second place, only 3 points away. 3 eliminations separating as of now. But you can see that two teams still over here. 1 damage per tick in the zone. There's a lot of chug barrels, a lot that you can go ahead and recuperate the HP, the bandages as well. So it's not too much of a worry that they're staying here, but look at all the resources that they're using. Reason is almost out of those small bullets. You see him just 5 shots left in the shotgun. Luckily, Faxity is there to finish off that elimination and give him the loot he so desperately needs.
That was a great snipe by Faxity, making sure to cut off that escape angle. But at the same time, Jacob, they spent so much time. This was such a steep investment, fighting for so long at Dirty Docks, and they're not exactly better off for it. Loser Fruit gonna add to the count, though. 1 more elimination for Faxity and Reason to take advantage of. But they are still out in no man's land compared to where other teams are already positioning inside of the zone. And with the amount of time spent, they might as well just continue to play exclusively for eliminations.
Yeah, especially since, you know, if you're in full control, you have all the loot, and you hear those players just getting rebooted over and over and over. You know that solo player is staying by, and you can just continue to farm just like they're doing so far. Cold and Courage rotating through Slurpee Swamp. They have to be careful. Seti and Daya right above them. Mongrel and Ollie A just close to the zone. And there's still one more team as well. All of them have a little bit of priority over them on this rotation for now.
A lot of bodies, though, at Slurpee Swamp, and we all know Peterbot does not like anybody in his territory. Might only be a matter of time before he looks to start clearing out some of those teams and playing a little bit more aggressive, but peeking back in with our Game 2 winners, Lacey and Clicks. If they can continue to replicate the level of success they found in the last lobby, Jacob, they might start to run away with this one.
They have that calm, cool, collected demeanor. They have the chemistry, best friends, some would say, as Ozzy's on the other side, putting pressure down from above. Peterbot's to have a crash landing, trying to make his way up with that shockwave. Meanwhile, that full duo that they were going up against quickly made their way on out. You said it yourself, Taco. Slurpee Swamp, that belongs to one man and one man only, or boy. That would be Peterbot. And he's just really wreaking havoc all around the lobby. And you see, and he's going to pack a punch in his loadout. It's not just the Thunder Shotgun and the Mammoth. He's making sure that he has the SMG as well. That way he can just end a fight in the blink of an eye.
But with the way that Peterbot and Aussie essentially just reclaimed Slurpee Swamp, they forced every single one of those other teams that were trying to take advantage of some of the heals surrounding Slurpee completely away. He's not allowing anybody else to utilize those resources. It's only Peterbot and Aussies to take advantage of. Ronaldo, Kanata, they're one of those teams a little bit stuck on the outskirts of Slurpee, but they got a decent little loot pile next to them.
See, I knew this was the only team with 2 FNCS championships, but with a Chapter 2 Season 1 win, Ronaldo is the only creator with an FNCS champion. Hey, that's got to give a little bit of confidence for someone like Ronaldo. I know we were kind of watching him practice in the rooms. His mechanics are there. It's just kind of like the outside factors that change when Fortnite and the meta changes.
But Ron doesn't even need the championship title. Ron would have that confidence regardless of the circumstances surrounding his competitive history. Allie, though, Zeke was asking for it. Guys, please stop bullying him. And it seems like it's worked out so far. But Mongrel, Allie, they might be running smack dab into Cammy soon. Gotta keep an open eye out. Flix has lost Lacey, though, and we are rapidly approaching that no more reboots territory.
This is best case scenario, though, with Lacey going down, because you got a max pull to the south, which means a lot of those teams are already going to start their rotations on over. Just need to figure out how you're going to get the loot. And if Flakes and Gon are going to push up on you, but no, it's actually Clix the one looking to get aggressive. If he can win this 2v1 fight, that's the loot that they need. And there's a big shot on the Gon. He goes back to back. Flakes is feeling the pain as well. Clix is not slowing down as he does get the knock. Gon is gone. He is out of here, and now that is Lacey's loot.
And Clix, he's still looking to chase him out. He wants to get this duo fully eliminated. Flakes barely managing to survive. He's trying to run every which direction. One more shockwave to create some space. Lacey with the tag from overhead. They're crash padding in. They've got Flakes on the run, but he's gonna sit and hide inside of the bush. They don't have any idea where he's actually scurried onto, and they'll be forced to just head right back to the zone.
Flakes did his job. He gave Gon a chance to get rebooted back up, and with him staying alive, there's going to be a second chance as well. But I wish them all the luck in the world, because look how stacked that side of the zone is when the reboots finally turn on. Luckily, there's barrels. There is Slurpy Swamp, so there is going to be some chances. But you got to give credit, all the credit in the world to Clix, not only making that opportunity possible, getting Lacey back in the game, but getting him loot. Isn't that the creator's job?
But it's just not enough loot, and Clix, he's gonna pay the ultimate price. They're victims now to the rest of the lobby. Everybody holding into their position, and they're down and out for the count, Jacob. They'll go back to the battle bus for game 4.
That is just 8 placements too short to get any placement points. At least he was able to get some eliminations to keep the points flowing. As Faxon and Reason just getting targeted. Luckily for them, as of now, they're on the front side of the zone, so eventually teams will have to start to rotate their way in. Just how long can they keep a hold of this pressure? And it seems like things have settled for them, so it's about assessing the situation. And you can see they're using everything that they have, every resource. Bandages first, then the Chug Jug if needed. And this is how Gon is just getting put in the ringer right now. Another elimination, and it's after 7th zone. He's not coming back this time.
And Gon and Flakes just caught in the crossfire for way too long. First it was Faxity and Reason, but Venno, Reddish, they're looking to keep the ball rolling here. Reddish is gonna have to take a moment, replenish some of those shields that she lost. But with 6 splashes, a couple of big pots, it's gonna be no issue whatsoever. They're definitely looking nice and healthy, but the high ground is what might be up for grabs soon.
Yeah, right now we see Queasy and Nick at 30 on one side, but on the other, Ali A and Mongrel are actually making an attempt for it. Might be a little bit too soon, though. 7th zone may wait just a little bit longer, especially with one team getting focused, but they do have it, and they have it secured for now. You see them firing off into the distance. That's Queasy and Nick. They're seeing where the zone pulls, and Mongrel and Ollie A, they get the zone pull. They get high ground priority.
But the for now is the key word here, because the moment that Allie tries to get a peek overhead, Queasy just immediately pushing him back. They're still looking to play for that height takeover. And Queasy's intentions, this could be an all-out brawl for the high ground in a matter of seconds here. But the whole lobby is on the move, Jacob. They're all trying to control that front side.
Even Alex using the crash pad that wasn't even his. Mongrel, he's been in this situation before, being able to hold on to that high ground. Ali A is doing his job right. Anybody that flies past, he's trying to put down pressure, trying to land some damage, make it easier and easier for the lobby to thin out. But Reddish has just got taken down, leaving Venno by himself. And you can see he only has 3 minis, so he's going to need an elimination if this goes to a heal off.
He does have a lot of builds to work with, though, for the time being, but he's got Kanata and Stable Ronaldo directly underneath where he's boxed up. Mongrel still trying to control height, but Queasy, Nick A30, they're overtaken. Mongrel by his own, he can't keep tabs of everyone around him, so Queasy gonna force forced him to drop.
That was a 200 IQ play. You had Nick at 30 pushing up, being the actual aggressor. Queasy in the distance landing the damage. Ollie A is now down. Mongrel by himself. 90 on the Chug Chug, only 25 builds left. He's trying to keep his position in the front side of the zone to attack. But for how long, with more and more players starting to put pressure, you feel and hear the shots firing onto his builds.
Oh, but Cammy just got shockwave deep into the heart of the storm. Peterbot, one more time, as a solo. He's gonna have to use the slurp juice. He's gonna have to find some more eliminations if they want to make up for the placement points with those individual elims. And Mongrel might just be the target in his sights. Mongrel doing everything he can, working his way through the low ground, but he doesn't have enough. Peterbot, though, getting caught up in more action than what he bargained for, trying to get the layers switch over, and he's going straight for the high ground tackle.
Might not take it all. He missed that opportunity. Goes straight down to the low ground. Thanks to that elimination on Mongrel, he does have some Chug Jug left. Veno's doing the same thing, getting aggressive, forcing players lower and lower on his current position. Queasy and Nick, third time could be the charm. We've seen him on high ground. Let's see him close it out.
But Kanata, Ronaldo, they just been skirting by. Peterbot with a fourth elimination now onto Nate Hill. And it could be disastrous for Savage. He's trying to see if he can make his way forward, but Peterbot actually gonna be the one caught off guard. Rex from behind, just taking him out. A menace to the lobby, no lore, but Rex paying the ultimate price. She's also been eliminated. Thomas bringing down Mr. Savage, and it's all by himself that he's got to keep this one alive.
Oh no, Shockwave just a little bit too far into zone. Only 10 on the Chug Jug, so that's essentially going to be a non-factor. Down below, one of the few duos left in this game, Ronaldo and Kanata. They are the ones on the hunt. They are the ones causing complete chaos down below, especially for any team that crosses path, and the Gentle Mates have just been separated. Nikoff is down as Ronaldo picks up his third elimination.
But Ronaldo, he's running slim as far as the builds are going, and Seti, he might have to drop. Seti might have to get involved, getting a couple of tags. Kanata's shield's so incredibly low, but Seti, he's all by himself. He's just trying to stay out of the line of sight, and he can't go much further. He's gonna have to block his view.
From a top 2 to a top 3, at least he's staying consistent. As Nick dropping down from above, no builds. Queasy taking a huge amount of damage, 10 HP each. They're scrambling to try to make a play, and Nick F30 is amazing with that elimination, but it's Ronaldo! It's Kanata! The Thieves of Night! They steal away the game!
Ronaldo and Kanata from out of nowhere! They were always a part of the conversation, but everybody just took their eyes off for long enough that Ron could close this one out. That is what we expect of a former FNCS champion.
Hey boys, don't lose your voices before you've had a chance to talk to me. Pretty excited about that one. Everyone had their eyes on you going into this competition. Game number 3, you finally show up. How does it feel?
I mean, this guy right here is the GOAT, man. This guy's the GOAT. This guy's solo clutch, and you know me, I'm a FNCS champion. I carried my squad back in 2019. You know, the genetics and everything. We just a go to do it. We waiting. When's next game?
I
mean, to be honest, that was probably the easiest game of Fortnite I've ever played in my entire life. All right, I'm not gonna even lie. We finally got a South Zone. Finally. If those who know, you know what I'm saying? We finally got a South Zone. The first 2 games, we're top left. We're running the whole map, landing bottom right. We finally get a zone, and I said we're gonna win it. And what happened? We won that game.
I feel like I'm hearing some excuses, though. Are you saying you're only going to win this if you get Southside zones?
He said, watch, if we get a zone, we're gonna win. What happened?
I mean, look at it. The first 2 games, 2 pulled max. Kill, we did top 5, top 3, and now we won. Easy.
All right, well, let's see if you can make it easy. As you were saying, Ron?
It's not over yet, though. We still got 3 more, so, hey.
There you go. Let's not get ahead of yourselves. Galen Center, please show some appreciation. It's Ron and Kanata. Let's head back to Zeke.
No way! The Pro-Am is delivering on the entertainment right now. Oh my gosh! I am just so in love with this format. I'm so in love with Reload, and I'm in love with everything we're seeing right now. I cannot believe we got a win from Kanata and Stable Ronaldo!
I mean, what a way to win that, right? The solo clutch, Kanata as well. Listen, I got you with the callback right there to Major 2. If you know, you know. South Zone pulls in their favor, though. They do win the game. Gosh, Kanada's just so good. Honestly, I mean, you know, we make jokes all the time about when zones pull this way, that way. When Kanada pulls a zone, he usually does very, very well.
We like to talk about players that kind of fly under the radar. And for whatever reason, Kanada, we just keep forgetting that he is one of the best players in Fortnite. He is the only player in the world to make all 26 FNCS Grand Finals. And to see him be here on the FNCS Pro-Am to prove himself on the caliber that we expect him to, that's what I love to see. But honestly, stable Ronaldo is really surprising me. We talked about a lot of these influencers being their loot llamas. I think stable Ronaldo is pulling all the weight as well. Look at that, 3 eliminations each. It was Ronaldo to get the final shot as well.
It was equal right there at the end. I mean, 4 eliminations apiece. It'll be interesting to kind of see after the tournament ends how many times the quote-unquote content creator was able to match the eliminations of the professional player. But with game number 3 right there, Kanada and stable Ronaldo, first place.
Oh, no.
Wow.
We are halfway through this competition, and once again, those standings get flipped on their head. Now, we are at the halfway point, which means we're going to give the players some time here. They're going to go ahead and head back with 3 more games to go. They got to start talking strategy, what they're going to do in that second half of the competition. I want to also highlight here, man, Queasy, Nick A30. Yeah. Oh, my gosh. I don't know. Like, Queasy is a legend already. We all know that. But the fact that consistently we are getting these height endgame situations out of Queasy and Nick A30, by the way. Yeah. Because sometimes, you know, just one of the duos, think about that last game 2, clicks left as a solo. Nick A30 is right there with Queasy.
Yeah, I mean, they're doing such a good job. I'm not going to lie, I was a little bit worried after games 1 and 2 because it looked like nobody was really going up for high ground. So I was like, well, if anybody starts to like shoot up, pressure them, tries to take it before them, like what's going to happen then? Game 3, Mongrel and Allier were actually up there on the high ground. And that lasted for about a minute because Queasy just knows how to take the high ground as well. Got to give a big shout out to Nick, though, because it's not easy to kind of follow up on those takes.
No, I love that you talk about Mongrel taking high ground, though, because if you looked on the other side of zone, around zone 8 there, that was when Nick A30 and Queasy were essentially egoing. Typically, when one player starts to establish high ground, they kind of hold it until someone either chops them or tries to steal it away from them. But to ego a player and to just build your own high ground on the other side is a different sense in itself. But Queasy, Nick A30 doing a great job. Nick A30 getting an elimination onto Seti, one of our invitational winners, is definitely going to be in his highlight reel.
Beautiful shot right there from Nick.
Dude, and I love to you kind of bring up Seti. I love that we've also kind of been seeing Seti. He's kind of like lurking, right? He keeps making these end games. In game number 2, we saw him kind of paired up with Daya as well. They're on the low ground. I mean, Seti is like, he smells blood in the water, right? Like he's that shark lurking in the depths, waiting to strike. And the problem is we kind of keep letting him make it to end games.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to pat myself on the back a little bit here, right? We were talking about the duos, having a little bit of a conversation. I was like, I swear, Seti and Daya, they're like good on paper. Everybody's like, what are you talking about? I'm like, I swear they should be good. They're like, nah. Shout out to KXR, though, because I saw KXR put some respect on Seti and Daya's name as a duo in this competition. So far, though, I think they're proving everybody wrong.
I mean, you called it out, honestly, that we have a lot of FNCS competitors here, a lot of people that make it to the grand finals, but this is a team that has won multiple lands to both of their names, between the Milk Cup, between the Invitational. These aren't just land competitors, these are land winners right here. And that's why we are currently seeing them in their second place spot. But for me, I'm looking at eliminations and I have to look to Ozzy and Peterbot. 16 eliminations, the most in the lobby. But of course, placement is where they're falling short.
Yeah, I was actually, looking towards that as well. No surprise that they do have the most. It's also kind of crazy looking at that leaderboard, how close, like top 7's very, very close. I think it was up to like 3rd place. There's only a 6-point difference right now, so it's still pretty much anybody's game.
Yeah, that's really scary. We kind of missed out there at 2nd place, right? Cooper Zemi still also hanging on there, making sure that this 1st place spot doesn't get too far away, right? I mean, just to see like I love that reaction. The variety of talent, really, from every single duo. It doesn't matter who we tune into. There's excitement. There's plays being made. Like, man, Reload is just so much fun.
Yeah, it really, really is. And shout out to Alex, right? Because Alex kind of putting on an early game clinic right now. Definitely going for those aggressive pushes. That game, though, definitely got a little bit of a pushback. Nate Hill was moving a little bit. Actually took out Alex on a push. and was able to pick up a couple more eliminations kind of following up on that.
Yeah, we like to talk about kind of these micro adjustments that players make during the tournament, because although you can prepare for reload, playing at home, playing ranked games, there's only so much that you can really prepare for a tournament. The meta kind of evolves as the tournament goes on. So to see Nate Hill kind of respond to how Alex is playing, because we saw Alex, like you said, going for those early aggressions and then just kind of punishing the players near him. Making those small adjustments like what we saw from Nate Hill is what allows you to stay at the top of the leaderboard.
I'm curious, right? Now that we have kind of this halftime, we're kind of going to give these players time to think and kind of take a step back and collect themselves. I'm wondering what they will bring for the second half of the competition. For now, though, we will go to a little break. When we return, more action here from the FNCS Pro-Am. What is going on, Fortnite fam? Welcome back to the FNCS Pro-Am. Again, we're here during the halftime, waiting for our players to kind of take a small break, and then we'll get back to the action. But first, we got to introduce you to David. Yeah, I know.
What's going on?
David is here.
Come on now.
We're standing next to David. The internet will never forget this happened. David, welcome. How are you feeling?
Bro, I feel ecstatic. It's Fortnite. It's Fortnite. Come on. Let's go.
Oh my gosh. So, David, you know, what brought you to Fortnite? Why
Man,
Fortnite of all games?
Listen, in 2017, I found a game on a PlayStation Store. I downloaded it, and I got into it super early, maybe like season 2. And ever since then, I've been addicted to it. I can't lie to you. Ever since then, I've been addicted to it. Crazy, bro.
Okay. So we was talking a little bit before we obviously hopped on here. Tell everybody what you told me. I was like, you know, have you been keeping up with Fortnite competitive in general?
Yes, I'm coming for that. I want to be a pro too.
Look at that.
My journey not done. I did the music. I got to get back into the Fortnite, bro. Come on now.
That's awesome. You know? So watching the competition today, then, who are you going to be rooting for?
I think Ronaldo, bro.
Okay.
He's going crazy. Peter Bart going crazy too. He's literally clip farming right now. He's literally clip farming. So, you know, yeah.
I mean, you brought up your music. You just released a new album.
I did.
Congratulations, first of all. But I gotta ask, man, listening to your own music while playing Fortnite, is there a song in your new album that you're like, it's go time, WP, the end of the game?
I think Feel It.
Yeah, are you
That gets
feeling
me in the mode. That gets me in the mode. Yeah, Feel It. That's the one.
Dude, I love that. What inspires you, man? I mean, obviously you're like kind of a prolific musician. You know, you're coming in. Obviously, Fortnite loves you a lot. So, what inspires you?
Right now, it's a lot of movies, television, and just life experiences, bro. Especially the games. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying?
All right. Talk to me a little bit about the watch party you got going on then, because I just found out you're
up there. Bro, I've been getting my little commentator vibe. You know, I've been checking in on players, see if everybody's locked in, and you know, seeing how everybody's doing.
Are you gonna start streaming some Fortnite, maybe getting into some cash cups?
I need to, yes, yes. I'm going to.
So what you're saying is we should just go ahead and add you to the desk. You're a permanent fixture.
Yeah, you know what? Just keep me up here.
Okay, all right, yeah, let's just pretend, you know, end game, Ronaldo, it's a 1v1. He goes to win. What does that sound like?
He's got it! He's got it!
I think he's hired.
He's hired. He's That's, like, this is how we know he's tapped in.
Come on, bro.
I cannot believe. So, like, how's the experience been for you, man?
Bro,
I mean, here it's just so different,
it's
right?
beautiful, man. I dreamed about being here since like 2018. I was like, yo, I gotta be in the stadium. I gotta be in this arena one day, and I'm here, bro.
So is this like the first time for you then? Like trying to like an event like this? Really?
It's blowing my mind right now, bro.
So that means as well you've never actually put on a stage.
Hey, next year, put me up there. Please.
Oh, okay.
Get me on the controller, bro. Get me on the controller, bro, please.
Are you an LA local?
I am.
So what is it like having all of these people from all around the world being able to like compete in Fortnite, one of your favorite games right here in your hometown?
It's beautiful just to see everybody come together for this one game that kind of just brings us all together to kind of scream and cheer and champion our favorite creators, our favorite gamers. It's a beautiful thing. Beautiful thing.
That's amazing. So, David, before we say goodbye, first off, please tell the people about not only where they can find you, but tell them about your album.
Thank you. All right, my name is David, aka D4VD. My new album, Withered, is just out right now. It's a beautiful, beautiful album. Put my heart and soul into it. Listen to it while you're playing Fortnite and go crazy on the game. You know what I'm saying?
Let's go, David. Thank you, brother.
Appreciate you.
Such a big, honor. That's David. I'm standing next to David, dude. All right, for now, let's go hang out with Frankie and see what she's up to during the halftime.
Thank you very much. David, do you want to come and visit the player lounge? Because I've got a birthday boy here who would love to meet you. Cypher, PK, do you want a signed copy of David's new album?
David, I would love one. Absolutely.
There you go. Hopefully we can hook a guy up. Now, Cypher, tell me what's happening. You're currently at 20th in the leaderboard. We don't say last year. We say 20th, yourself and Moxie. What's happening?
You know, it's very stacked right now. We managed to get a point last game. We shot someone out the sky. We're going to make some adjustments. I think what we're going to do for the second half is just play a lot more aggressive. You know, every kill is 1 point, every elimination is 1 point, and placements are a little bit hard to get because of everyone staying alive. So we're just gonna W key and be a little bit more aggressive and see if that works.
I like the sound of that. I mean, Peterbot is dropping near you with Aussie. I don't know if you want to maybe aggress that direction.
Definitely don't want to attack Peterbot, and fortunately so far he has not attacked us. He's busy eliminating Mongrel and Booga and Typical Gamer, so we're gonna keep it that way, hopefully, you know. My one birthday wish was to not be attacked by Peterbot.
Oh, that's slightly awkward because I thought your one birthday wish was to get a cake personally baked by Mr. Courage JD.
Everybody, today is Cypher PK's birthday. Join me in singing Happy Birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Cypher. Happy birthday to you. Yeah, you gonna eat some of that?
I don't like the way he's looking at my cake.
I don't like the way he's looking at you. It's like he's going to eat you up in the lobby in just a moment. Okay. So, before we let you go, Cypher, the birthday wish, you got the cake, but now are you going to get the elims and head up that leaderboard?
Absolutely. It's game time. You gotta show them that Unk still got it.
Awesome. Well, we are going to head over to Takata right now while I celebrate with the birthday boy.
Thank you, Frankie. Look, you're talking about unks, you're talking about icons. There is a lot of icons competing here today, and I found myself an icon as well. You might have seen him in the past Pro-Ams, the 2018 Pro-Am, the 2019 World Cup, all of the skirmishes. I am talking of none other than Golden Boy. Golden Boy, how are you feeling?
It's a pleasure to be here. Massive shout out to USC. What an incredible event this is. And it's honestly just wild to see the Fortnite Pro-Am back. I remember commentating the very first Pro-Am way back in the day. And man, I can tell you, it has definitely come a long way. It's been incredible to see how far this game has come.
I love to hear it. I love the excitement. Now, you've watched the pre-show. You've watched all 3 matches so far. We've got creators. We've got pros. I want to know, is there a specific creator that maybe surprised you a little bit on how well they've been playing?
Well, I mean, obviously, I don't know. Can we call him a creator? Stable Ronaldo? You know, I mean, I think
FNCS winner.
I think he definitely has a little bit of that juice. But no, honestly, it's been great to see all the competitors like really giving it their all. And massive shout out to my boy Cypher PK, because it's his birthday. I've casted many of his events, so huge birthday wishes to him. And also to my boy Courage JD, because that dude has been a thorn in my side for years. So massive shout out to you, Courage. I love you, buddy. But seriously, it's really cool to see all these creators come out for this.
I love it. Look, you're shouting out a lot of the OGs. You're familiar with the OGs. Now, are you going to put Cypher PK as your prediction? If you have to predict who is going to stay up on top in these next 3 matches, give me a duo.
Oh, man, look. I gotta go with Clicks after what we just saw earlier. Absolute God-tier performance out of him. But you know what, man? I really want to see a little bit more out of Nick 830 and what was the new guy? Was it his name?
Queasy, Nick 830?
There it is. That's the duo I'm looking out for as well. I'm trying to see them get that victory royale, and I think they're gonna do it after this next game.
I love it. You gotta put some respect on Queasy's name, the GOAT IGL of Fortnite competitive. I am loving the action so far. You're loving the action. That is a solid prediction. Any last words before we go back to the desk?
Oh, man, you know, I was there for one of the first Fortnite events ever done right here in LA. It's incredible to have seen how far this game has come. Look, I think that goes without saying, the community that's come out for this, and it's really shown the passion and the love. Like, keep doing that. Keep enjoying stuff. It's important to enjoy things, cheer for the things you love, and have a good time out there. This is really, really a fun time, and shout out to Epic for putting this on.
I love it. I wouldn't expect anything less from the icon himself, Golden Boy. Thank you so much, Zeke. You know what to do.
Shout out the OG Golden Boy. That's where Booga came from, in case you didn't know. I mean, Golden Boy was just an absolute legend. Thanks for doing that for us, buddy. We appreciate that. And of course, shout out to Cypher PK. Happy birthday. If you haven't already, go wish him a happy birthday. Tweet at him, however you want to do it. Just make sure you say happy birthday. All right, we're kind of getting closer, okay? Closer and closer to kicking back up the competition. The players are having some time to kind of take a step back and collect themselves for the last 3 games. Why don't we take a look at kind of our standings and remind ourselves kind of what's transpiring. Because, man, these games have provided so much chaos. And, you know, if you told me, hey, after game number 3, Kanata and Stable Ronaldo would be in first place, I'd be like, bro, what are you talking about? There's so many different names. Why them? And my bad. I'm sorry. I didn't know.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, a little bit of a slow start, maybe a little bit of a sleeper start out of the duo, right? I was kind of watching them in some of the games. Stable Ronaldo getting, like, knocked. 6 zone that one game, and then all of a sudden, game number 3, that's where they kind of found their stride, the low ground. They found their zone. Shout out to Kanata for that one. But yeah, I mean, it's no surprise here, honestly. Like, I think everybody kind of coming into the competition, you've got an FNCS winner paired up with an FNCS winner. I mean, come on, what's going to happen?
Yeah, I mean, you know, a lot of people say that if you look at Fortnite from 5-6 years ago, it is a vastly different game, especially the competitive side of things. But still, being able to have that competitive mindset, understand what your priorities need to be, and also be able to synergize and communicate with your IGL is very important. I think that's what Stable Ronaldo brings, where maybe a few other content creators fall a little short, is that he understands what it means to be a duo, what it means to be in a team and work together.
I love it. We've done something special. We've got some stats from the first 3 games. Let's take a look and kind of see, are there any front runners leading any of these stats? There's a name. You know, it's crazy, Viv. Why don't you just call out that name that seems to be eating up quite a bit of these stats?
So I read the first one, right, and I was like, ooh, Alex and Peterbot kind of tied up, and then my eyes went further down the list, and I was like, oh, Peterbot. Most damage done, best damage ratio, most builds, most eliminations. Peterbot, yeah, this is why he was finding himself toward the top of predictions.
He's also going down around 8th, 7th place And a lot of those eliminations are kind of earned towards the end game. So for the fact that he has the most damage, the most builds, and the most eliminations, while still not placing that very high, just shows how much of a powerhouse he is.
As somebody who pretty much gets to watch Peterbot on a daily, and I love doing so, I'm kind of afraid to say we still haven't seen that Peterbot-esque performance, right? I'm talking about one of those end games where 7 eliminations, you blink and all of a sudden he gets them.
Well, I mean, Peterbot, you know, a completely incredible player in the standard Battle Royale mode that we're used to, and he has just perfected that. He's played everything with it, and I'm wondering, actually, if with it being reload mode, that it's not necessarily facilitating the kind of end game that Peterbot is used to.
I feel like he should be pretty comfortable. I mean, we're kind of getting to the end game pretty consistently, right? Every single time we kind of tune into him, he's picking up those refreshes. He's got a grapple gun to work with. It looks like he should be comfortable.
Something that we always say, though, about Peterbot is how he conditions the rest of the lobby.
Yeah.
And I think that this lobby is unconditionable because they are just so chaotic and they kind of just don't care. To quote David, I don't care is what they're saying to Peterbot.
I like that, but I think there's a point to that, right? Because obviously the fact we have all of these different things, there's so much chaos, shocks, and people kind of landing back down. You're like, I just eliminated you. Wait, stop, don't come back, don't come back. Like, there's so many different things, and I think there is, because I agree. Normally with Peterbot, we're used to seeing like, oh no, there's 20 duos left alive, it's Peterbot, and then it's only like, wait, Peterbot won and picked up like 11 eliminations? What just happened? Now, what about creators, right? Who has shown up as the best creator on the day? Ooh. Well, it's actually Zemi, who is looking the strongest right now, and I don't think any of us are really surprised to hear and or say that. I mean, just look at some of these stats. Zemi, he's got ice in the veins.
Yeah, I mean, no surprise right there. We were kind of talking Zemi. For anybody who doesn't know anything about Zemi, pretty much taking over the zero build scene. He's considered one of the best players in that game mode. Coming over to the Pro-Am, obviously, yeah, you got to build a little bit, but the aim should be there. He knows how to kind of use all of these weapons. And I was actually talking to Zemi, right? Cooper was kind of gassing him up. He was like, dude, his aim is just like so good. And I was like, well, yeah, because in zero build, you're used to people kind of like shockwaving around, all of the movement that kind of gets added to zero build. Sometimes you just got to hit those shots of players flying through the sky. He's used to that. Reload, a lot of people flying through the sky.
He's literally doing those aim trainer maps that we see, but it's just in zero build. But again, you know, he understands competition. He's entered competitions himself and then joined by Cooper, who is an incredible IGL. But looking at the numbers, Nate Hill, if we're going to talk about a dark horse, Nate Hill is definitely one of them with 1,500 damage.
Well, yeah, a lot of that's actually got to be from last game, right? We saw him, I kind of talked about it a little bit, gave him a little bit of a shout out for pushing back Alex. And I mean, if we're just looking at it on paper, it's like, whoa, like Nate Hill should not be able to push back Alex. I mean, Alex has been playing the game. He's an FNCS champion. Nate Hill, yeah, he's still kind of playing Fortnite, but he hasn't really considered himself or, you know, jumped into the competitions in a very long time. But to kind of see him do something like that and the show on the damage zone leaderboard, really, really cool to see.
I even saw Somerset up there, right? Like,
yeah.
Whoa, what's going on, man? We're putting up some damage numbers here. It is so absolutely amazing. Now, we actually have an interview lined up. Let's check in with Clix and Lacey.
We have to check in with Clix and Lacey because they're 4th place on the leaderboard at the moment, but there's only 11 points separating them from Ron and Canada at the top. Clix, what happened in that last game?
You know, there's a bush in front of us, and unfortunately, they had a mammoth pistol and hit a headshot on Lacey, so he got hit 170. Not a good look. It was hard, but really can't come back when zone's that far, you know?
Yeah, and I mean, Thomas and Somerset, they're going to do that to you once they get the mammoth in their hands. Lacey, what's the strategy going forward?
I'm landing on Somerset. She out the air the entire game.
Well, maybe Somerset's listening to this and she's going to be ready for you. It's a W key situation, though, isn't it, Clix? It's anyone's game. All you need is one good game and you can dominate the top again.
Yeah, I mean, these next 3 games are going to be really aggressive, so it's about just staying on par with the aggressiveness and trying to get many kills as possible.
And what's it like knowing that the crowd is on your side?
They're always on the side. You just gotta love the crowd. You love the Clixers, you know?
Yeah, I mean, you got used to them being on your side, but you never take it for granted, right?
Never take it for granted. Super grateful for them.
And what's it like for you, Lacey? Obviously, the former pro player, now in front of the crowd again. Are you loving what you're hearing?
Yeah, you know, as a former professional player.
He's got like $5,000 to his name. That's a former professional player.
Current professional player. You know, it's fun. It's my first LAN. The adrenaline up there on the stage, it's a lot of fun hearing the crowd and seeing everybody cheering us on.
So maybe Major 3, Clix might make some changes to his very successful trio and bring you in?
I don't know. I might have to drop Iamzo. You a new fragger?
He would literally physically weigh down our team. Like, it's not worth it.
That's such a shame. But you know what?
We got a game. We got to go.
Let's call this the last dance and head back to the desk. I need to sort this situation out.
Oh, God.
Wow. That is crazy.
There's the engagement form we were looking for.
There it is. There it is. Obviously, you know that they're excited. Obviously, that's a character. That's them being characters. That's them being characters. What did you say? Oh, it has to do with the VOD review. Okay,
Well,
okay.
I'm gonna be honest. You know, you're talking about excitement, and we just saw Clicks and Lacey backstage. A lot of people are coming to the stage right now. I'm guessing that they might get a little bit more excited in the audience when we do see Clicks and Lacey come out. But I just love to hear from Golden Boy that Clicks really surprised him, and I think you know, a lot of people kind of just, for whatever reason, see Clicks as a content creator first and then a pro player second, but he has just brought so much to the table in Fortnite competitive over these last years.
Absolutely. Let's take a look at some of the stats. I mean, you know me, I love stats. It makes things very, very simple. Peterbot leading the charge right now. 2.8 damage ratio, almost 5K damage done. Look at the eliminations and, of course, the current place. But again, Kelly, you kind of called out. Yeah, they're kind of hitting these good stats, but that placement isn't there.
Yeah, and I think a lot of that, again, goes down to their game style is going for these like early game aggressions and then translating that into this end game. And I just think that typically we kind of can see them go for low ground aggression and then go for the high ground right when the moment's right, but they haven't been able to find that right moment. Peterbot, obviously with Aussie antics, just seems to be struggling a little bit in that end game there, Vivid, but I think that there is definitely a possibility in these last 3 games for them to recover.
Yeah, I mean, no surprise that we see Peterbot kind of at the top of, you know, being that quote-unquote best player right there. He just always is so good. It's pretty much like that sole reason why he was, you know, finding himself towards the top of some of these prediction leaderboards.
Yeah. Hey, Loser Fruit, what are you doing? Did you want to come over? Did you want to come over and say something? Did you want to? Yeah, I know. Yeah, do you want to hear? Why don't you throw this headset on?
I'm now casting even.
Okay.
We welcome you. Thank you, Loser Fruit, for joining us.
We're doing good. He's doing so well.
Yeah, he's doing good, right?
Popping off with the. I think he has the most elims alongside Peterbot.
Yeah, he does.
Right?
Yeah, tie.
Hey,
Yeah.
all right, let's go.
So what did you guys talk about during the little bit of a break there?
About, you know, continuing to get the most elims.
Oh.
You know, saying like placement's cool, winning is cool, but like elims are fun though.
Is there a player that you're looking to eliminate in particular, though?
Me personally?
Yes.
Somerset. She's wearing my Thomas says, yeah, so maybe I'll get a bit of revenge. Hopefully. Anyway, you guys are doing great.
Yeah, thank you.
I'm gonna go.
All right, thank you, Loser.
Thank you so much. Oh my gosh, I can't believe Loser Fruit just came up to the stage. Oh my gosh, can you guys tell we are having so much fun right now? Oh my goodness. Let's take a look at the standings one last time before we jump back into the game. What a day. David and now Loser Fruit. We're so cool. Anyway, again, reminder at the top, Kanata, Saber Ronaldo, after game number 3, again, shocked us all. Just a crazy game. And now I got to ask, Viv, what do we think is going to change for the next 3 games?
I don't know. Is anything going to change, right? We've only seen one duo kind of willing to change up in the early game, Peterbot and Odyssey, right? Switching up their drop spot. Maybe they're kind of going to do something like that again. We just heard from Loser Fruit that they're kind of expecting to continue to kind of go for the most eliminations. I'd love to see Veno and Reddish kind of enter the conversation, right? 11th place. Haven't seen a lot from them.
Yeah, we've seen Veno in the end game as a solo a few times, so being able to just kind of have Reddish there probably, you know, as an opportunity to be a support would really change up their end game there. But for me, what I think we're going to see in game 1, we saw a lot of shockwaves. We saw a lot of shockwaves in the end game, and then games 2 and 3, it was a little bit less. I think in these next few games, these end games, especially with the mobility items, are going to be shaking up that high ground a lot.
I'm curious, will Loser Fruit get the elimination onto Lachlan? The single desire she seeks, the single elimination, will we make that happen? Speaking of course, of other conversations, could we see Thomas HT and Somerset get a victory royale? I mean, Loser Fruit's talking her up.
I mean, will we? I think we definitely can. I think Thomas HD and Somerset, we saw Somerset on the leaderboard there for creators when it comes to damage done, so they're obviously playing pretty well. I would be curious to kind of see the leaderboard for damage done amongst the pros, because I would be not surprised if Thomas HD kind of found himself there. So, I mean, they're doing good in that department. They just got to kind of find themselves to the end game, kind of stick together as a duo.
Yeah, definitely going for that kind of early game aggression stat instead. But you know, Zeke, I just want some more Fortnite. That's what I'm here for, and I think that's what everyone else is here for as well.
I think you guys want more games of Fortnite, right? Are you guys ready? Casters, take us in the game.
Look, we've had enough of a break. The players have all had an opportunity now to revisit some of those first 3 lobby strategies, Jacob, and the revisions have got to come through heavy because some of these teams outside that top 10 leaderboard, you know they're going to be looking to overtake.
Yeah, no, during that break, I got a chance to chat not only with some of those players, but with some of the spectators as well, and it's been in agreement. This has to be one of the most fun tournaments that we have seen in a long, long time. The action for the first 3 games were absolutely impeccable, and I expect it to heat up even more because even Cypher PK in one of those interviews said our game plan probably get more aggressive.
It's definitely a sea of Dream and Merge and XSET out there. So Clicks, Lacey, they've got to continue trying to deliver some Victory Royale, see if they can hold on to that first place position. But we've got Game 4 on lock and ready to go.
This is it, the true halfway point of the 2025 FNCS Pro-Am competition, and where you're at on the leaderboard, I feel like dictates how you get to play. In the top 5, business as usual. Anywhere down below, if you're looking for that #1 spot and to be able to hoist that trophy, you might have to get aggressive.
But some things are not going to change as Alex opening up with a big elimination. Loser Fruit said, hey, just keep hunting them down, and he sure is delivering right now, but Faxity, he's going to find the most shield currently at Dirty Docks. Demi kind of hesitating for a moment. Didn't want to take that mammoth pistol shot. Didn't feel like he was going to be able to actually close that gap. Cooper might actually be looking to take the charge though onto Fax.
Just kind of taking their time, feeling things out. They don't want to go ahead and make any decisions that they're going to regret later on. You've got to imagine you take that shot, you annoy them, something you would do to Peterbot, and then he kind of hunts you down the rest of that game. As Alex able to get that first elimination and kind of reunite. Out of the map, the dust has settled just a little bit until somebody makes a mistake.
Ron and Flakes just seem like they can't catch a break, though. If it's not Faxity and Reason, if it's not Zemi and Cooper, now they got to worry about Oshi with Alex and Loser Fruit. And another team that the desk kind of called out, hey, we'd like to see them enter a big part of the conversation for today's competition. Peterbot, though, completely taken down. Out of nowhere, typical Gamer and Booga, they just got up close and personal. They're tired of waiting for the action to come to them.
Oh, and that is a big loss. Not just the point that they give on over, but the Chug Jug and the legendary Slurp going on over to Typical Gamer. And it's Typical Gamer himself, boxed up Peterbot.
Oh, you know Pete's mad. You know Pete's not gonna let that slide. Booga, Typical Gamer, y'all better watch your backs, because if Pete gets onto the playing floor, it's going to be disastrous. But Mr. Savage, absolute catastrophe for him too. Toyota, Captain Shota, they're opening up big swings here. One elimination onto Savage now means that the exposure is so detrimental here if Savage doesn't get a chance to actually touch base.
Yeah, especially since he just rebooted right in front. They know Lachlan is going to be nearby. Focusing on that one, Alex goes down. Great shot by Moxie. It is going to be a trade, but Alex getting taken down by the Storm. Cypher PK being the hero, making sure that they get the revive. They don't want to waste any time sending Moxie onto the reboot, and they do get to keep their loot. A great heads-up play by Cypher PK closing in on that.
It's exactly what they needed. Alex, on the other hand, probably wishing that this exchange wouldn't have been so even. Good backup, though, from Cypher. At the same time, Captain Shota, Toyota, they found Savage yet again, and they want more, but Savage and Lachlan, they're on the run. It's Lacey. Actually, no, cancel that. Lockie. I'm so sorry.
No, don't worry. You know that story about Lacey and Lachlan in the code. That's not the first person to make a little bit of a hiccup there, but They just know Savage and Lachlan have been running around. They're just on the hunt constantly. But now Savage is moving in towards Steamy Stacks, and he's hoping with more and more teams over on this north side of the map that this could be a chance for them to get back up. But Benno with the all-seeing eye know that he's a solo, and he's immediately going on the hunt. Waiting for that perfect moment. Savage knows he can't glide up. That would leave him open to getting taken down, but Benno's gonna go ahead and seal that deal anyway.
It's just so unfair. Savage has no shield. And Benno not gonna waste any time, but this could be the problem. Savage being out. Lachlan's gotta buy time now, but Somerset just aggressing so heavily, barely managing to stay up long enough for Savage to be brought back in, but now the question is, will he be able to do the same favor for his duo? Because Somerset and Thomas are keying him heavily.
And this is just disastrous. Coyote, Captain Shota is there as well. They were the ones that originally taken down Savage and Lachlan as a part of their game plan. Thomas and Somerset just taking advantage, but first place right now, taking down Ali A, Kanata, and Stable Ronaldo. Getting busy here in the early game, and they have access to 2 different supply drops on the right side of the map if they want to venture towards the north.
Kanata and Ronaldo seem like they're really starting to find their rhythm here, Jacob, and if somebody's not going to force them to come to a bit of a stoppage, they might just start building a couple points too many for some of these other teams to really keep up with. But Mongrel, Allier, right now, the trouble is both in front and behind them. They're just looking for any sort of a breath of fresh air, but the lobby is just continuing to close in. It's a mayday situation here for Mongrel. And I'm not sure he's going to be left standing for much longer.
Yeah, in the mini-map alone, there's about 5 teams, so it's not going to be easy for Ali A to get back up into this game. Especially since he's just going to get rebooted over and over again right above Mongo. Typical Gamer and Booga. They were the ones that got that initial elimination onto Peterbot over towards Slurpee. That was able to get him a good amount of loot to take this far into the end game as Ali A gets picked off yet again by Peterbot. Hey, if anybody is going to be a second-half player in this tournament, it's got to be him, right?
Feel bad for Booga, though. He just got robbed a little bit there by Pete. Did all the heavy lifting, landing that body shot with the Mammoth pistol just for the single tag to credit that elimination towards Peterbot. And Pete, 0 complaints. Probably happy that Booga was able to still set him up indirectly. Zemi Cooper kind of just taking a moment, though. They've got space, they've got time to work with, plenty of material, really solid loadouts, mobility, chug-jug, splashes. This is practically everything you could ask for.
Especially since the zone is opening up in their favor, all the way towards the north, all the way behind them to the east. They know it's in zone, and they know the chances of teams being back there is relatively low. Not necessarily impossible as Peterbot. No, this is not the same replay we've seen. This is just Peterbot bullying Allier. He said, you know what, Zeke? I don't care what you have to say.
Oh my goodness, this is sickening. Peterbot, let Allier land, man. This guy, it just gets nothing except a constant replay cycle, Jacob. The lobby is only allowing him to exist to farm elim points off of.
It's like poking the bear. You poke Peterbot one too many times and land near his drop spot.
Look at everybody shooting at
Peterbot again! He has 5 eliminations. I believe 4 of them are just farming Ali A out of the sky. I feel so bad, but it really just means that Mongrel down below, even though he doesn't want to have to push up, I feel like he almost has to do something to cause a distraction.
This is not very wholesome for Ali A, man. This is brutal work by the lobby. Peterbot and Aussie. The punching bag that's been established in the sky. Aussie maybe keeping tabs, though, on the next loot crate. Jacob, Cammy, they could be looking like they want to actually steal this one for themselves. But look at Cold and Courage. They're also making their way in.
Oh, no.
We got it. Production, take it over. No, you go somewhere else. The other side of the map, please. I can't keep watching this highlight reel of Allier being elimed off cooldown.
This is just insane. Peterbot without the Mammoth either. Just dealing tons of damage along with Ozzy, and they have their plan set forward. Then you got one team on one side of the map with Peterbot, calm as can be. On the other side, deep in the zone, 1v1, Thomas versus Veno. A battle of the ages for EU. He's gonna shockwave into the box, cause chaos, but Veno's gonna see that one coming. Quickly builds, trying to defend himself. Thomas not falling off just yet. Misses that opportunity by not firing the shot. That's gonna allow for Veno to stay alive just a little bit longer.
Somerset, gotta keep an eye on her as well. She might be able to actually help out Thomas HD here, and Veno still under so much pressure. Thomas does have a full Chug Jug if he needs it, and he's going to have to opt for the Chug Jug. But Veno doesn't have any whites. He manages to just barely find a handful of bandages inside of Steamy Sacks, but Thomas, he's putting on so much pressure. He doesn't want to let Veno get any kind of healing off, and sure enough, Veno, he just had the clock working against him.
Yeah, eventually Thomas knew he has to pop the bandage or fight back, and if he fights back, he's going down either way. Luckily for Veno, though, Reddish is going to be there on the outskirts, not necessarily getting contested yet. For Coyote, Captain Shota, they're going to be on top of the Steamy Stacks. They know they can use that to rotate forward, save the shockwaves, the grapples, and the crash pads for later, but they're just waiting to hunt this team down.
Wait, I don't know if Thomas is aware of the fact that those two are even up on top of Steamy Stacks. Luckily, though, they're going to make their departure before they decide to introduce themselves to Somerset and Thomas. Still, trouble brewing on the horizon here for Shota and Coyote. A couple of shots being sent their way, a few strays. Peterbot, no Aussie in sight, but Peterbot's applying so much pressure onto Flakes and Gone, and there's another team just ahead of the other side of those walls. Well, Peterbot is a solo. Aussie gonna manage to tag team, but it's Aussie and Allie just fighting for their lives to try and land here.
That's A-okay.
Fighting for their lives to try and land here.
That's A-okay.
Fighting for their lives to try and land here.
That's A-okay.
I should low-key hide in case they see my skin. You're good, brother. Nobody's gonna key us. Trust me. I will literally shit on anybody. You died, I insta-killed them. I'm not gonna let you die. Trust me, no time to die anymore. Yeah, no, we're dying. 3 seconds, we're gonna insta-there. Jump. Back.
You wanna open this?
Whatever. Okay, I'm 5-0-5. What about you? 5-5-5. I'm just pushing. Stop editing. Stop editing. Get out of that box. Just come in. We're gonna throw the crash pad and jump in and go in. It's probably gonna pull back. So Holy shit! Yeah, we gotta stay on the hit. We need to get up there, low key. No. The thing with reload, trust me. I've played every zones. They might pull into the water. It's possible. It's not programmed where you can't get it. It's possible to come back. Or south. So you just play in the middle, but just shock in. Right here? No. Stop. You're right. Where you back on? Come, ready? Come. Yeah. Editing, jumping. On you. Still on you. Make you a box. Come, just edit on you.
What is this?
Quick lane.
Whoa. No way, you just stole his phone. What?
Take it though, can you take it?
No. No, look, I gotta show you something on your phone.
Nas,
here, take it.
Drew, you take it. I got you. You could be put towards Macy if you want. He just stole your car. You have no car. My little cousin's in there, bro. My little sister.
Wait, how old is your little sister?
5.
So Ron just committed Grand Theft Auto
I guess so.
and kidnapped a 5-year-old girl?
Yep. Yeah, we're getting a third today. Yeah, we're getting a third today. 3, 2, 1. Go. What the fuck? Come on.
It's on.
Wait. Oh, it is on. You need to click it. All right, ready? 3, 2, 1, go.
I want to pull. Okay, but I trust you. You're not gonna let me down? No. I'll let you drop some sound.
Hold on! Let me get it started! Beat me with the Robins! Looking up retarded! B&B sagging! Fly like a dragon! Bitch, on my dick cause I'm flying like Aladdin! Yo!
You are flying like Aladdin. Double chains. On 2 chains up. Or that is flying Aladdin.
I got you guys. Do not trip. I got you guys.
Don't let go.
Be careful. Chad, are you ready? A little bit higher. Okay. I want to go higher.
Oh, that's cracked.
Oh.
That landed straight.
Oh my
God. It's still live though. That shit's cracked.
Oh, how is this still working? Dude, it broke the fucking screen.
Take a picture so I can show him.
The one that's on my side right here, I think that one is my favorite. I really like her. And if you don't pick her, I'm gonna slide in her DMs, honestly.
Please don't.
Damn, okay. Oh my God.